What's up, everyone? I'm Jeff,
Yeah, I'm Silas Olson.
and you're listening to Death Metal Daddies.
Oh,
There we
okay.
go. Recording. Welcome
Recording in
back.
progress. Welcome back to Death Metal Daddies. Another week. I
Yes.
found out that like every single vocal style that I mimic here, like you cannot hear in the podcast at all.
No, I've always wondered. I
Like,
didn't know if you were like trying to be quiet, so you just kind of like quieted it down, but
oh,
I could never hear it.
yeah, no, it's just kind of like my talking voice, or like, yeah, it's like a talking volume, but I guess it's a little quieter because I just kind of like mimic the squeal and stuff. But yeah, no, it's like if you were in person, you could probably hear it better. Like, I mean, it sounds kind of wish-ish, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah,
I think it's probably because you
whatever.
probably like projected, so maybe it's going over the mic since you have it right up to your face, and you can't. No
Yeah,
matter where you move your head, it's going to follow you.
right, true. It could be definitely be that.
Yeah, I've always just thought that
Well,
like maybe you were
no,
like trying to be quiet in your house. Like
yeah.
it sounds
Going
like
going mute. Yeah, just looks like I'm seizing out. Oh shit, that's funny. Yeah, no, it sucks because it's like I always there's like certain squealers that like I love for their squeal. Like I don't think it's not Alex Arian of Despised Icon, but the other dude. I think it might be Steve Marquise or something like that. Or Steve Maurice or I don't know. But he has one of the fucking best squeals, dude. Like it just sounds so damn good every time he does it. And then Cheney Crab and Theos, her fucking squeal is so killer too. Like one of the new songs, she starts out, but it's like it's I know I did it again. I'm gonna continue doing it. So like just know that these awkward moments of like silent, like whisper like cat noises or it's actually me attempting to like make a normal volume squeal, but I might never get there. And anyways, Janie Krabs it on one of the new Entheos songs. And I love how not only she holds it out, but like the freaking reverb that they have on that, it's like perfect, man. It's like perfect level because it just kind of like just gets bigger as it drifts away. And it's just I'm a sucker for those squeals like that. Do you like that?
I do.
Like
I
those
think
big
it.
like
I like it when they're like surprising a little bit, like a song that isn't very squealy, kind of like how Entheos would do it.
mhm.
Whereas like you weren't expecting it, and just all of a sudden like the I Declare War song Tick, like it's his normal screaming throughout, then all of a sudden just. Well, I can't do it, but like the super low pig squeal, like oh yeah,
Did you try to make a noise there? Because I couldn't hear you there.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't hear
nothing.
anything.
Huh.
No.
Well, maybe since
Yeah,
it's an inhale, maybe since it
no, can't hear anything.
nothing.
And see, I don't know how like I don't know. I need to probably watch some like guttural technique videos to see how those dudes really project that. Because I'm pretty sure like most slam bands, I think they're just like essentially like coming close to swallowing the mic and just recording it, like pushing it out like that because I think it's really hard to sound that loud doing that kind of shit, but I mean maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I really don't know a lot of how they do that.
I
The
know.
gutturals and squeals and shit.
I watched some vocal teacher react to Signs of the Swarm, and I guess he does a certain thing to where, because you know how he'll like put it like this, but he'll actually take
Yeah,
his
he
tongue to
like
push
cups
his
the
lips
mic.
more, and
Huh.
him pushing his mouth towards it more, kind of it helps it get more into it and creates a certain sound, just a little bit more cavernous with his lows and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it is super badass though.
So how you been since the last time? We had a shorter week in recording.
Yep. We're gonna kind of double up on Spotify, I guess now. But yeah, been pretty good, man. Still kind of living on the high of that Limp Bizkit show.
I
It was
gotcha.
just super fun energy. I feel like I discussed it really terribly last time. I don't know if I was like too intoxicated, but um, eh, it was just a really great show. Like Bones was fantastic. Limp Bizkit was fantastic. It was all just, I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I said that. I don't know.
I know
But
you
anyways,
described a lot of the opening bands. I didn't hear too much about Limp Bizkit besides they opened with I can feel it coming.
yeah, that was like their intro music. They just had the doo 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 doo. It was like the synths and shit, and they walked out to that, so it was real cool. I don't know. I really dug it, but I've been seeing the YouTube videos from people's films and stuff like they're uploading to YouTube since then, and so just kind of reliving the moment through that, man. But yeah, it was a fun ass show. I don't know. It definitely was nostalgic, because it's like they were such a they weren't like huge like on my musical I guess whatever bands that I got into, but they were definitely there. But I felt like they came out with solid bangers back then and they stuck around for a few years, but then like once you kind of get to the 2010s and stuff, Limp Bizkit was just kind of like non-existent really.
Hmm.
And then I mean they kind of came out with that Gold Cobra album or whatever, but I wasn't really jamming Limp Bizkit real hard for that. But I don't know. Definitely kicked ass live.
That's good. Yeah, I've been seeing they've kind of come back big ever since they adopted that they did that what dad vibe energy for a little bit, and that kind of
Yeah.
brought them back and made them cool again.
Yeah.
I did like that newer album, at least some of the songs. I think there was some that was still like meh, but there's a lot of really good songs that were like, okay, Limp Bizkit's cool again. This is pretty
Yeah.
good. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
felt like
that'd
they
be
really
cool.
went back to their roots and they sounded like old Limp Bizkit again. Pretty sweet. But yeah, so now I'm kind of eyeballing next shows. I think we should definitely hit a couple metal shows. I saw that post you just sent me. It looks like Gate Creepers trekking out on a headlining tour. That's
Yep,
pretty
with
crazy.
Frozen Soul and Worm. So,
Worm?
I mean, I missed the Frozen Soul show earlier, but I guess I get to see them with more bands I like as Gate Creeper. Worm's not too bad. They're another like that that style of the old school death metal, but with like some doom. They're pretty cool.
Hmm. Oh
Very
yeah.
kind of like slimy dungeony sounds kind of thing, but very like drawn
That's
out and
cool.
doomy. So they'd be cool to
What
see.
kind of vocals? Is it like old school death metal vocals or
Yeah, it's all just like low gutturals, not like slam low, but like old school death metal low, like old
oh
Cannibal
okay.
Corpse.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've never heard of them. But yeah, I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I saw they were playing at Delmar Hall. Have we been there? I don't know if I've ever been there.
I don't know if I've been there. I don't know. I'm trying to remember because I feel like so there's also the Firebird, which I know I've been to one show. I don't know where the Born of Osiris show where I hurt myself, if that was at Delmar Hall or the Firebird. I don't remember. I just remember it wasn't
Hmm.
Pops and it wasn't Fubar and it wasn't the pageant, but it was in St. Louis. I remember.
Hmm.
So maybe that was Delmar
Yes, I
Hall.
don't know. I guess yeah, I guess I haven't been there, but it sounds like a pretty big venue. I'm guessing it's probably like a
I don't know though, because it looks like they're also going to be in Lawrence at the Bottleneck. And isn't that a smaller venue?
oh, okay. Yeah, I think so. Thought I seen Wichita on there. Wait, is Delmar Hall in Wichita, Kansas?
No,
Or where's
Delmar Hall's St. Louis, I think.
St.
No,
Louis? Okay, yeah, duh.
I want to
Or
look at that.
yeah, I don't know. We better make sure.
All right, so St. Louis, Delmar Hall, and then yeah, Lawrence, Kansas, like 4 days later, and at the Bottleneck. Yeah, Frozen Soul, Gate Creepers headlining, and then opening is Worm. Pretty cool.
Sweet. Yeah. I still
Um,
need to listen to Frozen Soul, but
they're not bad. They're I feel like they're out of all the newer bands that style. I feel like they're kind of this is not a bad mid like how the new kids say it, but like they're middle of the pack to where they're like they're not bad. They're pretty good. I wouldn't put them at the top like with like Sanguishiga Bog or Gay Creeper or Undeath or anything like that. Just kind of like middle of the road, pretty good, nothing terrible.
Sweet.
Um, yeah, there's that. And
Oh yeah.
there's the Nile and 6 Feet Under show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be badass. When is that one?
Uh,
Might as well look it up.
here we go.
Might have some dead time here.
Oh yeah, that's okay. This is in January 29th. We
Oh,
have a
that's
lot of time
perfect.
for that.
Yeah, sweet.
Then there's the nails and 200 stab wounds. Since I already have my phone up, might as well look up that one too. Nails off Broadway, September 15th. That one's more coming up.
September 15th.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
That's going to be the
Sunday.
start of hunting season.
Oh, speaking of that, this weekend got my first rifle.
Hell yes. What'd you get, man?
I got a Savage Axis 308.
Nice. I hear it's a
Some
good round.
Yeah, that's what my brother suggested. He says it's good for deer and also it's a pretty common round, so you're gonna be able to
Mm-hmm.
find them easier. And then also I got this one because it was one of the cheaper ones they had, but it comes with scope,
Oh,
so
sweet.
got everything
There
I
you go.
need with it.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm super pumped to use mine again. Only getting one deer last year really killed me. It was fucking just tough hunting, man. But I'm getting pumped. I got a buddy down in Shannon County, and or he's got a spot down there, and man, it's looking really good. I think I'm about to go down there soon to set up stand set up. So pretty pumped about that.
I
But
gotcha. Yeah, it'll be fun times. Hopefully, I can finally get one.
have you shot a bow? Have you ever shot a bow?
Not an actual. Well, I was in high school and it was someone else's like compound bow. Annie's been practicing like archery, but it's like the kid bow. It's not an actual compound. I'd like to
Oh,
do
okay.
a bow hunting. That would be fun.
It
Those
is
are
fun,
also
man.
expensive. Those are just as expensive as a rifle, it
Yeah.
seems.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're ranging from if you want to, start with a decent one, the low end's going to be $300 pretty much.
Yeah,
But it'll put a deer down, So, I mean, and nowadays they make them so ridiculously powerful. Like you don't have to worry about it not, killing a deer or your feet per second, It's they're mostly pretty solid nowadays, so hard to go wrong. But there's some like the more expensive you get, like the nicer they get, the nicer the shit that the little attachments on them are, and so I'm kind of eyeballing one. And I think it's like within $600 to $800 range, but I
I
don't know.
gotcha.
It's going to be probably a couple of years till I can do that.
Yeah, that would be nice to have the quietness of the bow as opposed to the rifle,
Hmm.
since it would be on farming land, so it'd scare the cows every time I shot it. So really, if I don't get that first shot, I
Yeah.
can't do anything. I just gotta watch it run.
Yeah. I mean, and you'd be surprised too. Like I've shot a rifle with a group of deer around, and I downed one deer in that group, and they literally just like they kind of like bounce once they heard the shot, but then they just kind of like look around and just kind of trot away. It's like, oh, yeah, you'd expect them to like scatter immediately, but not always, man. They'll really throw you for a loop. And then I had one hunt last year. I had a doe come in range for a bow, and I mean, dude, she walked in like 12 yards from the stand, and every single time, like I literally went to draw back, just start drawing back. She like flinched and would like scurry. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm not even drawing my bow, and she can hear like the freaking like pullback on it. I'm like, this is gonna be impossible. And sure as shit, she hung around for like 10 minutes. I could not get a pullback on her and just fucking left. I was like, son of a bitch, dude. And it's like when that happens, it's just so demoralizing. You're willing to throw in the towel at that point. But the I think that, right the last minutes of daylight, I'll stay in a stand from freaking like 2 p.m. until like the last flight. And around that time, we're gonna have daylight savings and stuff. So it's gonna be like 5 to 6, somewhere in between there. But I mean, literally, I'll go out with a flashlight if I have to, because man, I've seen some like really big deer come out right at those last hours. And that's what they say is, that's when the bigger ones they're going to hold out, and they get big for a reason because they've been dodging humans all these years. So,
Yeah, that would make sense because the last time I went, the only time I saw him was uh, right at sunrise, and I didn't see any of them the rest of the day.
yeah.
It's that coming out at nighttime, keep them safe.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've like developed this nocturnal kind of habit, I guess, or lifestyle, really, from my understanding, just from years to avoid predation. So I don't know. It's definitely interesting, but yeah, I'm super pumped for that, man. Super pumped. So,
I got you. Well, um, so as our listeners could probably tell, we don't really have any new. There's no new music for us to talk about this week. It's been kind of a drought. Unless you wanted
little
us
drought.
to
Just a
review
little
the
drought.
brand new Deep Purple album. Other than that,
Ooh,
yes, Smoke on
damn,
the
those
Water,
guys are
Deep
still
Purple.
writing music.
Apparently, I
That's
don't.
crazy.
Yeah. And it's so bad this week. Apparently, you probably don't watch Overkill reviews on YouTube.
No, I think I know the name, but I don't think I've seen that in a long time.
It started by the guy, I think it's Sam something. He's the guy who did the Headbangers Journey documentary.
Oh, okay, cool.
He created like this media thing, Banger TV, and he has all these
Oh,
people
all
staff.
right.
And he has this one guy on there who's pretty funny. I think he also does like stand up too, because his Instagram thing is metal comedy guy. But Blaine Smith, he usually does like one every week, a brand new review, pretty funny. This week he said, "I can't find anything, so I'm just going to tell you about my favorite band." And then he did this whole like, it might be hard to get into this band, so I'll give you an easy mode, medium mode, and a hard mode. How to start
Oh,
off
okay.
this band. And
That's
he's
pretty
pretty
cool.
good at finding the most underground stuff. Like he's how I found out about Worm, Knife, a bunch of bands that a lot of bands I still never checked out because he just stays in the underground, finds the stuff, and he if he couldn't find anything, I wasn't gonna try.
Is he a bigger dude?
Was actually pretty scrawny, but now he's kind of getting bigger because I
Oh,
think he's getting into powerlifting because he had this it was pretty funny. I don't know if you've heard of the band Satanic War Master. They had this like
mm-mm.
old black metal album. Had like this dude but with like a goat head, and
Hmm.
he has that. It has that shirt, but he's picking up deadlift and it's satanic powerlifting. I really wanted that shirt, but
Satanic powerlifting. That's fucking hilarious. How many people would be like eyeballing you in the gym? Just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe
it's such
this.
a cool
Lifting
shirt.
in the name of sin.
Well, I even saw him wear it, and I commented on this thing. Where'd you get that? He sent the link. They're already all sold out, so a bunch of people are going to
Damn.
gyms going wearing these shirts.
There's so many good shirts like on those Instagram fucking like random meme pages. Have you ever scrolled through those? Some of them have great comedy shirts, dude. Like they do like I think I've sent him to you in a whole message or in a message, but like they have a whole run of like political made up names for campaigns. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
Barry McCockner.
yeah.
It's really stupid, but it is like so good, man. I want to buy it one so bad. There's one with it on a skull, or it's like a Grim Reaper with a gun and, and it's smoking, and it just says born to shit, forced to
Oh
wife.
yeah.
I sent it to Lex. I was like, oh, please get me this shirt. She's like, I would never be seen in public with you with that.
I've been seeing
I
a
was
lot
like,
of those
oh, it's
memes.
great.
I've been seeing a lot of memes like that making fun of those people, those memes that people always post, like the skull on fire, riding a bike that's on fire. Saw
Yeah.
one, it had that picture on it, but it said, "Sorry, I'm late. I was too busy cranking my hog."
Oh yeah, I've seen that one too. Oh man, it's so funny. Memes are so great for comedy.
Oh, not metal news. Uh, I would, I usually don't want to talk about politics, but I was telling Danny about this. Uh, we can work. All of us in America, we might have our differences, but we can work together. We can work together and bully a president out of wanting to do it again.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, I don't even know what to think of that shit. It's just like he was so damn determined the past 3 years. Like, why give up the fourth, dude? Why give up like months away?
Well,
That's
I
crazy.
think it was just re-election. I think he's still staying in.
Oh, really?
He's just not
Or,
trying
well,
to run
yeah,
again.
but
Yeah,
still, it's just like, why are you going to take so long to change your stance? Like, you
yeah.
should have fucking done this a year or two ago, and you'd at least gave that party way more time to find a legitimate candidate, to step in. But
Instead of everyone scrambling.
yeah, yeah, man. I don't know. It's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. Crazy times we're in. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, Jinx. No.
no new
So
music.
I was scoping my Spotify real quick just to see if I got any newer plays I wanted to mention real quick. I know we didn't really have a playlist prepared for this one. Kind of covered that playlist last week. Have you been rehashing anything on that playlist?
Um, a little bit Black Lava. I did discover a new I guess Disfiguring God the Goddess dropped another new song. But it's only a minute long, but it's actually like I think it's an original one, unless it's some song I've never heard of before, but it wasn't bad. It's more of his speed, not the Down with the Sickness cover he released last week, but I think
Yeah,
it was some weird title.
I'm not following his music as much as I'm seeing him on my Facebook reels. Like he's just popping up like in all
Hmm.
these videos doing like the cha cha cha
Yeah.
to these slam covers and he's like I'm just like this is so damn ridiculous, dude. But it's hilarious.
Yeah, his
Let
new
me
song,
see.
it's easy to have a good time when you feel good. And it's like 55 seconds long.
Oh my gosh. That dude's a freaking he's just a comedian. He's just freaking playing around, I feel like.
But other than that,
Um
I've really just been listening to today, and particularly I've been listening to a lot of because of our conversation, Celtic Frost, a lot of their old stuff since I feel like you're probably the same way. You got into them with Monotheist, which
hell
was
yeah.
drastically different than all their older stuff. So I want to check out their older stuff, see what all the old people got into them for. Because I know
Oh,
that's
okay,
usually
interesting.
what their crowd is a lot of older people who got into their old stuff.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that band has like two different fan bases. Like they've
Hmm.
got the monotheist guys and then the rest of Celtic Frost.
Hmm.
But I think I remember like trying to revisit their older stuff, and I think that one song is the only one that stands out to me. Something of the Tyrants. What's it called? Do you know
Oh,
what I'm talking about?
Circle of
Circle.
Tyrants.
Yeah, I think that one because I think he still brings that one out live.
Yeah.
But from what I remember, it's still heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, ish. It's listening to all like I just listened to that album and then also Into the Pandemonium, both a little different styles, but they're both very at that time I guess it would have been like thrash, almost like
Huh.
kind of like how nowadays they're kind of doing like the black and thrash, but a little bit less black flavor. It's kind of like
Huh.
dirty thrash, it feels like, but it is pretty, I would say, heavy for its time kind of thing. Kind of like
Okay.
how the first episode talking about Motorhead was heavy for their time. I feel like Celtic
Yeah.
Frost was pretty heavy for their time, obviously.
Oh, I'm sure. I bet. Where's he from again? Is it
So
like Norway or
no, he's from Switzerland, and I think
Sweden? Switzerland.
That's why he's friends with H.R. Geiger.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds right. That's cool. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I felt like there was a song I was gonna mention. Oh yeah, Fulci. Have you ever heard of that band?
I've heard of them. Are they slam or are they death metal? I couldn't remember. I feel like they're either one
I
of
th
those two, from what I remember.
I think yeah. This song's called Rotten Apple, and it looks like it's a new release. Yeah, it just dropped June 21st. And so it's got like it's got a sample like to start out, but the cover is like really intriguing to me. It's got like some buildings and shit with like a skull and hands. I'm gonna send it to you real quick just so you can look at it.
I gotcha.
But it's death metal for sure.
Yeah, because I was thinking about bringing up
Pretty
all the
badass.
new releases in the next couple months. That was one I was wanting to bring up, but I couldn't remember. I can't remember what they actually are. But you said they're like death metal, more death metal-y.
Yeah. Yeah, they're death metal-y.
Yeah, it's this. So I guess that's the cover of their new album, Duck Face Killings.
Huh. Yeah. It's pretty badass looking though, isn't it?
Yeah,
What's the album called?
Duck Face Killings.
Duckface Killings. Interesting.
I think I looked into this band a little bit. I want to say the name
Oh
is
yeah, their
based.
last album, Tropical Sun. I remember that cover now. You might have shared that with me.
I think I might
Kind of
have.
looks like Dead Island vibes, really.
I want to say their name is based off of some like old, I want to say Italian horror movie director, and that's kind of why they all their album covers kind of look like those old school horror movie posters.
Yeah, it looks really badass. I love their art. That Tropical Sun was not their latest release. They had an album in 2021 too, but I didn't listen to that one, I don't think. Got a pretty good discography though. Might need to check them out.
Yeah. So what
Sweet.
have you been cycling through any older stuff recently?
Um, let me yeah, duh, that's what I hopped on. No, I think I podcasted a lot today. I was checking out some podcasts. I listened to this new Distant. Have you listened to that? It's
How new?
that deathcore band. They got a couple singles out. Looked like very recent. The
Okay,
Undying and Loveless Suffering.
I gotcha.
But when this band first came out, man, I thought they were pretty interesting because they had like a I don't know, something was really unique about them. But these two releases to me, they just kind of sound like I don't know, spit out to the what's the fucking words I'm looking for? I don't know. It sounds like just kind of
Copy and paste.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Good way to put it. Copy and paste kind of shit. But I don't know. They didn't catch me. Maybe I'll listen to them again and like it some other time. But for right now, man, it just kind of sounds like typical deathcore shit. So,
I gotcha.
um, Nails. I'm really liking that new single. Give me the painkiller. They're really
Oh,
fun
I
right
don't think
now.
I've listened to that one yet. Is that a newer one?
Yeah, it's another new one. I think it just dropped last week.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I think it's a pretty short one again, but still good. Um, I went back to some corn, oddly. I think I was spray foaming one day and they just kind of sounded good. And then aside from that, I've kind of been into some hip hop. Like I said, Bones from that show. I've been listening to a lot of Bones lately, so and it's just kind of stemmed from there. I didn't know he did some ASAP Rocky collab back in the day, and so I thought that was really cool discovering that. But basically, Bones had this song called Dirt, and years ago, it's been like a decade since he dropped that, but ASAP Rocky actually took a clip of that song and put it in his song Canal Street, and dude, it just sounds like it was meant to be there. It's a great song, but and I love ASAP Rocky. He's probably one of my favorite rappers ever, but um, yeah, I don't know. Into all kinds of shit right now.
I gotcha. I've been listening to a little bit of hip hop too, not much, but I just been getting a lot of Facebook video recommendations, and it kind of took me down this King Von rabbit
Hmm.
hole. I just been listening to some
I
of
don't
him
think
for a little bit.
I don't think I'm familiar with him.
He's like a Chicago drill rapper, or he was. He died pretty much about from what he was always rapping about. Um, Apparently, he wasn't the greatest guy either, though. So I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, his
Yeah.
music's pretty good. Pretty much just like I don't know. I don't think it's not nothing deep or anything. Just a lot of like you're pumped a little bit, makes you feel good. This gangster stuff. I mean, I can't relate to it, obviously, but living out on a farm.
Oh man, it's fun, dude. Just throwing some hip hop every now and then. I love it. I just wish I had a car that it sounded good in, to really
Yeah,
support that fucking bass and stuff. But yeah, I definitely go through periods where I'm just like all hip hop.
yeah.
But
You ever check out the
other than that,
Kendrick
man.
Lamar and Drake this
Yeah,
stuff?
I did. So me and Sammy checked that out on the way to Limp Bizkit actually, and he kind of gave me the rundown of the whole beef, and so I listened to all the tracks, and yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Pretty wild. I guess Drake's just shut the fuck up, so it's kind of crazy. But I don't know. Apparently Kendrick seems like Kendrick just really dropped the hammer on him, man. I don't know, and it makes me I can't help but wonder if these allegations are true or, if there's more to it, that we don't know. I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy shit. I feel like it came out of nowhere, you know, but it's wild.
Which would you say is the
Definitely
best
wasn't
song out of
expecting
it?
that. Huh?
Which would you say was the best song out of
Say what?
all? What would you say is the best
Oh,
song out of all of them that came out?
I don't know the title of it, but Kendra, They Not Like Us. They Not
Yeah,
Like Us. Uh,
I've been
I
listening
love
to
that
that a
one, man.
lot.
That's a good one.
It's
Yeah.
catchy. It's
What's that
fun.
title called?
Not like us.
Is it Euphoria Oh, Not Like Us. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a badass song.
See the music video yet?
Kendrick's just so damn good, dude.
Oh
No,
yeah.
I haven't watched the music video.
It's
Is it pretty
there's even
crazy?
more disses like in the actual video. Like
Oh,
the
no
part where he
shit.
says A minor and drags it on.
Yeah.
In the video when he does that, he's crip walking on a hopscotch line as he does it and throughout the entire A minor part. And then
Oh, wow.
also at the beginning I don't know if it's like if he's just a random extra stuff he put at the beginning just for the music video or if it's like a teaser for his new album, but there's like this cool beat at the beginning and him rapping like a bar or two at the beginning, and then it cuts to the song. That's so if that's what his new album's gonna sound like, it's gonna
Huh.
be great. Pretty excited about that.
Oh yeah, dude. He's a freaking stud. I feel like he is definitely one of the kings of hip hop, modern hip hop for sure.
Hmm.
If not the king at it right now. But
Yeah,
it's hard. It's a hard competition because Drake has so many damn singles, dude. Like it's like it's nuts. I think he's like one of the top Billboard artists ever
yeah, and I see because there's been a lot of like
in terms of
online
number of
arguing.
singles that have been on the radio.
Yeah, there's always I keep seeing online arguing. That's what it always goes back to is who is the most popular, who has the most made the most money from their music and stuff like that. I've always liked Kendrick
Right.
more. Drake's all right, but I do think he's overrated. Kind of like I view him like for rap music, like I view Taylor Swift for pop music. Like there's some good songs in there, but it's hard for me to say I'm a fan when how much people talk about it and where every song they release or every album they release, there's always people so staunch to defend it. Like there was that trash album he came out with,
Yeah.
honestly, never mind. I thought that album was terrible. But there's still people who will just argue with you saying it's so great, you just didn't get it.
What was the cover of that one?
That was literally just a black background, and it was like the words "honestly, never mind" kind of spray painted like graffiti, but it was like silver chromish.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I
could
think
probably
I remember that. Yeah, and I wasn't too impressed. Yeah, I mean, honestly, my favorite Drake is probably older Drake. I feel like I see that with every band, every artist, but it's so true though. But yeah, in comparison with like number of hits on the radio, dude, Drake is king all day. But Kendrick, what I love about him is like the dude really came from the streets. Like he really fucking like had a crazy ass life. And then you get Drake's background and it's Degrassi. And so it's like,
Hmm.
I don't know, it's just so weird. It's so crazy.
Well, also, what I like about Kendrick is that we've talked about on this podcast consistency. Yes, he has a lot less hits, but he also has a lot less albums, and
Yeah,
but all
right.
the albums he has are great. Like
Yeah,
they're
for
all
sure.
good. It's not
Not
like
a bad
Drake
one.
where every other album you can skip and not miss anything.
Yeah. Drake's definitely got this almost like the as a like dying cookie cutter, how I was trying to explain that. Like he's got this like set guidelines for what he's going to do in his songs. Like he's got his voice range too. He's going to sing like this, and then he's going to drop it down low, you know, or
Hmm.
like shit like that. You know what I mean? Like not trying to sing like Drake, but it's just he, you know what he's going to do pretty much. And so I don't know. Kendrick is
Yeah.
just like he's kind of all over the place.
Also, I feel like Drake's beats are always usually the exact same. I can't ever tell if it's a new song. It always feels like they're all the same, just slightly changed. Like one thing's
Yeah,
tweaked and it's like, oh, there's a whole new song. But he's probably still,
yeah.
he's like you said, he's doing the same flow, same things he does in all of it. Like
Doesn't
sometimes he'll
change
come with a
much.
cool song, like "I'm Too Sexy" wasn't bad. The one song he did with 21, like that Rich Flex song, that was pretty good. Did like
Hotline
First
Bling was
Person
pretty good.
Shooter. What was it?
Hotline Bling. I mean, I know that was like an older one, but
That was what, 10 years ago now?
oh shit, yeah, probably. That's crazy. That was such a good one though.
Yeah. But I feel like that is kind of the start of the whole, like, just a kind of a, at the time, I felt like that was like an okay beat, but I feel like that kind of like boring, low key beat, he's like, yeah, that's popular for me. And then just all his songs are just slow, low key beats, and they're just, it's boring.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I still really like his like I think it's his debut with just like the face on or whatever. Like
Hmm.
what's that damn song with the air horn?
I don't know. I never got too into that album because
Oh
it's kind of like
really?
how
Oh,
yeah.
Forever, I think it's called.
Oh, is that the one with has like all those features from like is that the one with the opening
LeBron
line first
James or
name
some shit.
ever, last name ever, first name greatest?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty tight album, I thought. I
I
thought
really
he
like
actually
that
like had some really badass bars.
I really like that one I don't think it's officially an album, but if you're reading this, it's too late.
Oh yeah. That one
That
was
was the
good
only
too.
one I actually really liked. All the others kind of like I didn't really care about views. I didn't care about actually most of the stuff. Views, no live. I even during when that beef was going on, I was trying to like, all right, what am I missing? What are all these
Yeah.
Drake fans going on about how all of his songs are great? And then I started listening, like, man, it's all so boring. Like Views had
Yeah.
a couple good songs. It had oh, there's one I can't remember. Then Hotline Bling, No Life Sucked. I was bored. There was that Scorpion album, a double album with that one popular song, the Kiki song.
Oh yeah, see I didn't listen to hardly any of that shit.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome back to Death Metal Daddies.
Yeah, welcome back to Death Metal Daddies, where we talk about rap and hip hop.
all right, took a weird turn. Let's just we don't there's no new music, so let's talk. Actually, this last week was a good week for rap. There was a lot of new rap albums that came out. Childish Gambino came out with a new album. Someone posted a
Oh,
whole
really? See,
list. There's like,
I heard he's retiring as
is he?
Childish Gambino. Yeah, I heard he's like done with that moniker. He's moving on. I think what I read was he's wanting to pursue acting more, if I'm right. Probably
Hmm.
better look this up just so I don't fuck it up.
So I also want to say he's doing a tour because I got a thing saying he's coming to Kansas City. Yeah, new album Bando
Oh,
Stone in
really?
the New World.
Huh.
Haven't listened to it yet though.
Yeah, he is. One factor in his decision to retire was the increasing logistical difficulty of making an album, let alone one that lived up to his standards. Amid multiplying obligations, including to his family, his film and television projects, and a new creative incubator and production company called Gilga. So that's from the New York Times. And so, I mean, it's probably pretty legit.
So
So
maybe
this
this is
may
like
be
his
his like
farewell.
last tour. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I would love to go just to watch America and because I
Redbone.
love that song. Or This Is America. Redbone. Yeah, dude. Just the fact that he sings Redbone is just like I tell people whenever that song kicks on, I was like, this is a guy. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
It's so cool though. I've always loved him, dude. His music's awesome.
he's just a talented guy because he also does, I found him through stand up because I don't know if he does
Oh
anymore, but he
yeah, he
used to
did
do stand
comedy
up.
too.
Yeah,
I
was
forgot
actually
about
pretty
that.
funny.
Yeah.
He does acting. He
That's
has his own
crazy. He was
show,
really good in
Atlanta.
Star Wars.
Is he in Star Wars?
He Yeah, he played younger Lando Calrissian.
Oh, that's right.
Fucking knocked it out of the park. I think that was in Rogue One or one of those off movies. One of
Was that the
the
solo? Just the,
or yeah, maybe Solo. I think it was actually. Yeah.
'cause I also know
But
he was
yeah,
in
dude, he did really
Community,
good in that.
and then he was in, he has his own show, Atlanta, which I guess is pretty popular.
Yeah, I've tried to watch that. I don't know. I've seen bits and spurts of it, but I never really stayed on with it. But
Gotcha.
yeah, that would be cool.
So
Yeah, and
anyways,
that's
that's,
actually something me and Sammy were talking about. I would like to actually really go to a rap show. I don't think I've ever been to a rap show. Have you?
I've been to a, I've been to a Christian rap concert.
Really?
Yes,
Damn,
I went
that's
and
awesome.
saw, I was supposed to go see Bring Me the Horizon with Cancer Bats and Thursday, but my parents said I couldn't go because I was going to be going by myself. So like I went and talked to my friends, like my parents won't let me go. Like we can go to this concert with us. Okay. And it was this church out in the middle of nowhere in this town called Mound City up in Northwest. It was at this church.
Oh
It was
wow.
Cray. Have you ever heard of the Cray? He's actually like a big Christian rapper. This is like his early days.
No, I
He's
don't
like
think so. I'm
I
definitely not
think
in
he's
tune with
like
that.
the most popular Christian rapper. But yeah, I went and
Okay.
saw it.
Was it badass? Was he like chucking bands
um
everywhere?
it nothing like that. It was surprisingly not bad though. I mean, it was literally just him with his laptop hooked up to the speakers. But
Oh, okay.
he did have good energy. Unexpectedly in this random small church in Mountain City.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, hell, if it fits.
Yeah, I think that's the only one I've been to. Yeah. I've been to a couple of country concerts now, thanks to Danny.
Got some
Doing
country
pretty
under your
good,
belt,
but
huh?
yep, got Russell Dickerson, Chris Stapleton twice, Marcus King three times. That's about it, I think.
Damn,
Still trying to convince her to go to a
that's
metal
awesome.
concert. She counts your guys's as going to
Oh
metal
yeah.
concerts.
Oh hell no. That was nothing compared to a legit one.
Like I was trying to explain, I was like, you can't compare a local show to like an actual like touring like big band.
Yeah. No way. You got to go to a shoulder to shoulder packed house,
Hmm.
to experience it. Because you got to get the pit, the cluster of the pit, feel the other people sweat, maybe go run through the circle pit a couple times, fall down. Then I think you've officially experienced the metal show.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not somewhat fearful of your safety a little bit, it's not a fun concert. Or like it can
Yeah.
be fun, but it's not the best time you could have. Because I remember I was thinking about this the other day. when I went and saw Slayer and Anthrax with my brother and his wife, we went and saw them. We were in the far, far back, like the amphitheater in St. Louis.
Um, Maryland Heights.
Yeah, you know how
I
there's
think so.
like that
Yeah.
grassy area in the back, which is like the lawn tickets. We were back
Yeah.
there, and obviously, like then there's a bunch of seats, and then another pit, and the pit down there was going crazy for Anthrax. And then we're up. We were at there was a mosh pit and a circle pit that was starting,
In the
and they looked.
lawn.
Yeah, and they looked at me, and
Damn.
my brother looked at me like, "Are you want to go?" Like, yeah, I'm at fucking Slayer. I want to do something. Yeah. Well, no, it was during Caught in Mosh. Like, yeah, I want to go do that. So I went over to the
Oh
circle
yeah.
pit, and it was not a circle pit. It was just a bunch of people running, smiling. No one's
Running.
touching anyone. This is not a circle pit. I'm just doing laps in this open field with a bunch of people.
Yeah, you can't help but like that immediate thought kicks in. It's just like, okay, all right, who am I pushing? Okay, I guess I'll just keep running until I find someone. And
This is
and
a
then
very
like,
G-rated circle pit.
yeah, I love how like everyone that lines the mosh pit, like you'll get some guys I feel like that come in to like act as wall security for the mosh pits and they just like start sticking their arms out the entire time. Or they'll like do this to like they're preparing for like the people running up. Boom. And it's like become a game where these motherfuckers just try to chuck them as far as possible. I don't know, it's just really fun to people watch it those.
Actually, yeah, that was one of the things I was wanting to talk about for this episode. So when it comes to when you go and see a live band, what in your mind makes it what makes a concert the most or a band the most fun to see? Is it their intensity kind of thing, or is it how good they sound? Is it their stage production, or is it more of just dependent on the crowd? What would you say is the most important thing?
Man, that's so hard because I think like to have the greatest show ever, you almost need each one of those factors present. Like if the crowd's not feeling it, it's just gonna miss that crowd. Like prime example. So like there's a couple like whenever we went to go see Chris Stapleton. Sorry, this isn't a metal show I'm comparing right now, but I'll get there. Chris Stapleton, he's not like an entertainer you could say. Like he's just a performer. He's coming out on stage to play his music. He doesn't really talk to the crowd a whole lot. He may say a couple words, but for the most part, he's just going song to song to song to song. And then you'll have, and then like our show with Kurt Stapleton, like the crowd kind of sucked. Like I felt like no one was really singing along. Like the applauses were meh, okay, and so like there's a couple factors missing from there. I think it would have been cool to have a little bit more of that entertainer aspect from him. But I don't know. I love Chris Stapleton too. So, but anyways, I still thoroughly enjoyed that show. But I felt like I definitely enjoyed that show way more than a lot of other people there. But and then so like you have like an entertainer like Limp Bizkit, or you could even say like Lamb of God, where they're going to talk to the crowd a lot, probably in between their songs. And then it's really cool whenever I'm sure these guys rehearse this before the show, but you'll have like the instruments subtly playing like some lower volume tune as he's speaking, just kind of building the hype for the next song.
Hmm.
And then they announce it, kicks in, fucking boom, you get the energy. So it's like so many of those factors are very, very important for a really solid, stellar show. And I think the greatest bands, the most successful bands, have like all of those elements pretty much, or pretty close to. So,
I
but the
gotcha.
most important, I guess, I would say, um, man, I think engagement is important. I mean, if you just come on stage and you don't say anything and you just play your music, yeah, it can still be really cool and really good for the fans, but I think the fans still want to hear them being talked to. Maybe that's just me, but what do you think?
I think I am more of the engagement and also just like the energy in general. Because I was think because when you said that you kind of need everything, I was gonna come up with the scenario of all right. think of it of how think of like the band Every Time I Die when we went and saw them. Like,
Mm,
let's imagine because you probably obviously they're probably not going to play every single song perfectly, note for note, but that's not the point. The point is the energy that they bring you, how how
yeah,
riled up the crowd gets. Take that then versus like when we saw Ghost. Like Ghost had a amazing stage production that they played
right.
every song perfectly, but they just kind of stood there. So
True.
which would you say? I would say the Every Time I Dive show for me was better because of how like it was go, 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 people jumping on
Yeah,
people, bodies on bodies,
dude.
and
Yeah,
just
and like,
energy.
and it's even more thrilling when every single member of that band is engaging with the crowd too. The drummer fucking stops, does a break, sticks up, like sticks in the air, whatever. It could be as stupid as that, or chucks a stick out to the crowd, but it's gonna fucking hype the people up, dude. It really is. And like that's what I remember about that show. Every time I die, the fucking guitarist, what's his name? Hopped. He did a crowd surf at
Oh,
Rose.
Jordan.
As small, yeah, as small as that fucking place is, he crowd surfed there. And I mean, every single one of those dudes were interacting with the crowd in some way, whether it's jumping, running through the crowd or whatever. I remember I was moshing near the entire time of that show, but I didn't know every single Every Time I Die song that they played. But it was still a fucking blast because of their engagement, and their energy that they brought. So, yeah, dude, there's so many aspects that go into it, but yeah, I don't know. I remember they almost like knocked down a speaker too, didn't they? Like one of those hanging speakers or
Yeah,
something.
because I jumped back into the crowd and hit a speaker that was hanging over the
Oh,
stage.
oh shit. I didn't
I
know
didn't
that
see it,
was
but
you.
you told me Keith grabbed it and actually looked at the people and said sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, like thought that it was gonna break or some shit. Yeah, it was crazy.
So, out of everyone you've seen, who would you say does encapsulate all those different things to make the best show, at least in some degree?
Oh shit. Um, you know what? I mean, the headliners they're doing it for a reason because they just fucking bring the party. Every Time I Die, the Acacia Strain. Um, those two right there, like I was interacting throughout the whole set. Like I wanted to take breaks from the Acacia Strain mosh pit, but I couldn't because every song was so badass. I remember, and I wore sandals to, I think I wore sandals to that show. And I jumped out of the mosh pit to come and I saw Alex. He was like the first one. I'm fucking out of breath. I was like, oh, dude, that's fucking badass. You gotta go in. He just stood there and like laughed at me. And then like they announced the next song. I was like, "Oh, I love this song. I gotta go." And so I just run right back in. Like I couldn't help it, dude. But yeah, man, it's like I don't know. I've been to like so many shows now. It's my Lamb of God. It's like I don't know that I'm gonna pursue seeing them. I'm sure I'm gonna see them again eventually, but they're always really fun to see just because I mean, they just bring the energy, bring out the classics in a set. That's something so easy for a band to do that just gets the crowd back into it.
Hmm.
I think I remember seeing Mastodon and their set got kind of dull because they were touring on I think it was the one we went to go see them.
Yeah.
It may have been one more trip around the sun or once more around the
Hmm.
sun. Um, but they started playing a lot of shit from that album, and it still was really new and wasn't crazy memorable at that time yet. And so it kind of like doled out, but then they kicked back in with like fucking Blood and Thunder. And I was like, oh shit, dude. And it just turned into a ginormous circle pit real quick. So, but yeah, man, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, the headliners, dude, they definitely, uh, definitely are on run the tour for a reason. So
Hmm. And
what's
I do.
what's ones that stick out to you?
You said one of them because I think that was probably the prime example. I was thinking that was Lamb of God because they do somehow like they have huge stage production. They'll have TVs up on their stage with them to like have videos going on
Uh,
specific to the
Pop
song.
up the iconic words and shit too. That's
Hmm.
always really cool.
And not obviously Randy is just a he's great with the crowd. Anything that's going on, like we've all seen. I think we've all seen the video of there. He sees the person doing the sign language interpreting, and he's going up there headbanging with her right next to her, getting all excited. Like
That's cool.
he's a great performer. Then also just like you said, they that was another thing I was wanting to bring up is whether or not they actually understand their own fans and crowd and play the right songs to get the crowd energized. Because obviously, like when we saw, like you said, when we saw Mastodon, they played Once More on the Sun, and I would say what 50% of their set was that album. It felt like
Yeah, it
so.
was it was definitely a lot, and it was a lengthy ass set, man. I think they
Mhm.
just they're like a metal slash jam band, you know. They're kind of like breaching close to the Grateful Dead, where you got to really you're going to a Mastodon show, you got to make sure you're going to be there for a while. But no,
Well, even
no,
some of their old
they
songs, I
don't
was
get that
surprised
crazy.
they
But
played. Like they played Blade Catcher, which I
yeah,
thought,
like some old random ones,
yeah.
but that's
But I
cool
think
though. I mean,
I remember when I saw Lamb of God the most recent time. Like you would think, because at that time they had released like three more albums that hadn't really cared about too much, and I thought, all right, I've seen them enough times. Like, yes, they've been good every time, but I've kind of fell off them. We'll see how they do. But sure enough, they came out opening with like this like voice echoes, 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 and then you find out it's slowly getting louder and more clear, and it's the opening to Omerta.
oh
And then
hell yeah.
they all walk in, and as soon as every single one's on stage, just dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
oh,
dude,
I'm in,
that's so
I'm in.
killer. Yeah,
They kill it every time. But
absolutely.
I think Mastodon has kind of caught on to that kind of. I think they've realized that they do need to go back to more of the classics because there was that show we went to. They played in Camdenton, and I was debating on going, but I looked at their set list before I went and saw that they were playing mostly Emperor of Sand, which was just came out. So pretty much
Oh,
same
okay.
thing, but different tour, different album.
Yeah.
I don't think they even played Blood and Thunder on that one, so I was like, no, I'm not going to that.
Wow.
But this
Damn.
most recent one I went to, it felt like they finally realized, like, all right, our fans, they know all of our old songs. Let's play some new songs, but a lot of our old songs, and they played a lot of deep cuts. They played March of the Fire Ants,
Oh, hell yeah.
Crusher Destroyer, um,
Yeah.
Iron Tusk. Like they played all their like
Oh,
all the
I love Iron
good
Tusk.
old songs.
Hell yeah. Iron Tusk, I can't help hear that song and not think of that Tony Hawk game that one was on.
Hmm.
It was one of like the newer Tony Hawk games, but I still remember like that song being on there and like loving it every time I heard it. But yeah, man. It's like it's so weird how their music can get so big that they create this fan demand, you know?
Hmm.
Like they're gonna have to recycle those. Otherwise, they're probably not gonna sell as many tickets, you know? So it's definitely a weird aspect to think about for a band. And then it's like they're in that for the long haul. They gotta play those for fucking years to come. So, I mean, hopefully they really love the song, but I'm sure to an aspect they're like, fuck, we gotta play that one again.
I think it would be fine as long as they switch up some of the old songs because there was still some old songs I wish I could have heard. Like I still haven't heard Sleeping Giant live, but I did get to hear Cycle Sasquatch, which I never thought I'd get to hear. Um, yeah, there's other old songs I think that they probably could, if as long as they cycle, that way it doesn't get old. Because remember when we met Fit for an Autopsy, we asked them what's their favorite old song to play, and they said it's this song because
Yeah.
we haven't played this live since that album tour. Like,
Oh
and
wow.
that makes sense. Keep things fresh. Rotate your old songs in.
Was it anything on Hellbound that he said?
No,
I
I
don't even
think it
remember.
was when the bulb goes out or something like that.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Huh. But like them, they're always gonna have to play Black Mammoth.
Yeah.
Like, and that night I felt bad because they were releasing the follow-up album to that, and so it was like kind of like an album release show really. And I remember we lined up early so we were able to get in the door early, which was cool. It's like kind of the closest to a meet and greet for a big metal band that I think we'll probably get unless we pay for one. So that was definitely kind of a cool little thing to get to do. But yeah, dude, Black and I remember chatting with him, and I was just asking him all these questions about that album. I forget what it's called. The Great Collapse or something
Yeah,
like
I think that's it.
that. So yeah, but I just kept asking him questions about that, and I felt like he wanted questions about the new album. But I was like, "So, did you write all of Black Mammoth?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Really, by yourself?" He's like, "Yeah, I did." I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." I hope I didn't make him feel like, I thought he was a dumbass, but I was really impressed because I just felt like when they dropped that song, I was like, "Damn, this is a fucking banger hit." Like it
Hmm.
is like a hit of a hit, dude, all around. It's so well written. Just a really impressive song, in my opinion. Lyrically, vocally, I just all around every instrument in that song is fucking. I love that track, and so I was just kind of still obsessed about that album in that moment at that show. But they delivered, dude. They played, I think, all the great hits on it. So
Yeah. Well, they
Hydra,
didn't.
didn't they open with Hydra?
I think they did. Or no, they opened with
It was
that
awesome.
one new song. What's the first song on that new album? Or at that
Warfare
time?
or no? Oh,
Sea of Tragic Beasts.
yeah, down, 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 down. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think that's what it's called. Um, yeah, I know they played Hydra though. I know it was in
Yeah,
that set. I think the
yeah.
crowd just went wild when that one went on.
Hmm. They didn't play Empty Still though. That would have been nice.
That is a good one.
Although it is a
Is that the
vibe
one with the
change.
the dark lyrics though?
Uh, that was the one that me and you were arguing whether or not he was talking about God or a literal father.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because there's some lyrics that are like
I never wanted a
hinting at like a disappointment of my father. Or yeah, I
I
never
never
wanted a
wanted a
father who wouldn't
father who
forgive
wouldn't
me.
forgive me. I never wanted to live in a world that would kill me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, true. Yeah, man, very hard-hitting song there. Sounds very emotionally driven, so yeah. But
But
I'm sure your theory is more right about that one. I'm sure it's not like this written from this angsty teenager,
I
But
mean, it could be
uh
because I think we even
yeah.
asked him. He says,
Yeah.
"Well, that's the beauty of why I write it the way I write it, because
Oh yeah, he didn't
you
really
can
answer us on that one,
it
did he?
can mean either thing of based off how he wrote it."
Yeah, or no, I think he might have actually said that yours was right. And that I was like, well, I
I
thought it
think
was about you. You I thought it was
plus
actually about your life. No.
now that I look back, I think we were a little bit. I think he was probably annoyed with this because I think we were dicks.
Yeah.
Like I think he was like, "Well, that's the beauty of it. I wrote it where it can mean a literal father. It can mean a spiritual father. No, no, no. Just tell us who's right. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Technically, he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. We were probably like the biggest idiots that got led into that thing. Uh, Hilarious though, looking back. I think I bought the guitarist a shot.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
was that the bald one?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, he seemed like a cool dude. Except I gotta say I hate the sweatpants. I'm not like don't fucking perform a show and wear sweatpants, please.
Don't look
You know?
comfortable.
I I don't know. Or do whatever you want, but it's just
I get it.
like Lorna Shore, all of Lorna Shore that night had fucking gym shorts and sweatpants, and I was like, what is this? Like you guys fucking
Yeah.
dress up for a music video, but then you come to a show and it's like I get it. You're on tour, you're fucking living out of a bus or a van, if that, and so you want to relax, but when you're performing, dude, perform. Like
Hmm.
fucking show us that you're about it. I don't know.
I will say that I was so excited to see them, but they were a big disappointment that night.
Right. Yeah. And for all those listening, this was Lorna Shore in their CJ McCreery days. So we got to witness probably one of the last shows with them. Or I think that was the last run with CJ. And then all of the allegations and shit stemmed from that tour, I believe, right?
Yeah, because they had that touring guitarist who wasn't in the band yet, and he joined later. And
Yeah.
also, it seemed like was it just me or did it seem like everyone in that band was depressed? Like none of them seemed happy except for the touring guitarist.
Yeah, they didn't seem thrilled to be there. Just seemed like kind of a fucking dull energy all around. Um, I don't know, man. Like they performed, like CJ sounded badass in there. Like they sounded like Lorna Shore, but I was just the crowd wasn't really moving. I don't think they had a mosh pit going. Maybe they did. I could be wrong, but yeah, one of the least memorable of that night for sure.
Hmm. Yeah.
What was that whole set?
Like what songs did they play or who was all on the bill?
No, yeah, who was on the bill?
I think was it Discarnate opened?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Um,
Duh.
I don't remember who the next band was. Then it was Lauren Shore and Fit for an Autopsy. Do you remember who
But
was?
see, Discarnate, I thought that fucking crowd went crazy for them.
They were pretty good.
Yeah, they were badass live, dude.
Who
They
was the
kicked
second
ass.
band?
I think it was Lorna Shore. I think it was Discarnate, Lorna Shore, and then oh, I don't know. That may have been it. May have just been three bands.
It's gonna bug me
I
now.
found that it's really hard to look up older shows unless you know the year.
What would this been? Like
16
2016?
maybe. Yeah.
That's not it. 'Cause it wasn't Enterprise Earth. Oh,
Yeah, no, we didn't see them.
well, there's a
Sea of
tour
Tragic
poster.
Beasts. That's the name of it.
Oh, last 10 seconds of life.
Oh yeah, duh. They and the crowd got into that one, especially when they played the box.
Mm-hmm. That
Dude,
was cool.
that was fucking awesome. Everyone in that building knew the lyrics to that. That was crazy. I felt like everyone was chanting that fucking ending line. What is it? I've made my mind up. I could do this forever.
Because
My
it's
guilty
one of those songs
pleasure.
that just get you going. It's dark, but
Yeah,
it gets you
dude.
going.
It's so damn good. I love the vibe of that. It's like this serial killer perspective with this kidnap,
Is it supposed to be like a
being
snuff film?
maybe like killing of a celebrity or something, kind of, or you're gonna
Like
be
he talks
famous
about
together.
yeah, and then like silver screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely eerie vibes in those lyrics, but man, that fucking song goes hard, dude. That band took a really weird turn, I feel like. They got this new lineup and they got a fucking awesome sound. But for some reason, I feel like they're just not sticking in the scene. Like I don't hear a lot of buzz about them. They hop on a tour here and there, but like I don't see a lot of friends talking about them.
Is it maybe just because they are like they do it doesn't seem they will never get a stable lineup and
Yeah,
they're
lineup changes
constantly
can probably,
changing their sounds.
yeah. But I think it's still the original guitarist.
Yeah.
I think
I
he's
feel
like
like
the remaining original.
I feel like Amir's the same way. Like Frankie's the only original guy, and Acacia Strain's the only original Vince. But it
Yeah.
seems like the last 10 seconds of life, like it seems like the whole band leaves, then a whole new band comes. Like
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like they're kind of going back to their old sound. Then they got the
Mm.
new band members, and they kind of did that like tough guy gangster style with that one guy. Then
Yeah.
they all left, and now it's kind of back to more of like a sinister, evil kind of thing.
Yeah. But they waste no time in pumping out records, I feel like.
No.
For a short-lived band, like they got a fucking big discography already.
Hmm.
It's pretty crazy. But and what's also interesting is that guitarist, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure he is the remaining original member, and he's also the one that did all the cleans. And
Really?
yeah, particularly on the album The Violent Sound, that's where those cleans really stand out to me. And that's like probably it's actually like a new metal album almost. If you like kind of take into perspective of his cleans, I feel like it's got like this new metal kind of aspect to it. He almost sings in like this Alice in Chains kind of vibe, and It's a unique sound. So like I was kind of captivated by it whenever it came out. I thought it was really fresh sounding. No one really sounded like them. And I kind of got into some of the songs on that, like even the cleans. But yeah, this last record, he didn't, I don't think he did those at all, did he?
I don't
No
think
Name
I've listened to
Graves.
it
Did
all the
you
way
listen to
through,
that
but I
one?
don't think it would fit their new sound at all. Although, I
Yeah, it
mean,
wouldn't.
I would be surprised because there are some bands that are seem to just be forcing clean vocals into areas they don't belong. Like there's even I feel like there's an old school, one of the old school death metal bands is incorporating cleans in their sound, which I feel like that's a genre that I would not expect that in. That would kill the vibe. It doesn't
Yeah.
belong there. I don't
Yeah,
remember who
I
it
think
is.
I concur. I mean,
Um,
I don't know. Every band will sometimes they'll throw me for a loop. They'll surprise me. Like Enterprise Earth, they're throwing cleans in now, which is kind of surprising. They're also kind of like they're doing so much shit. Like they got the symphonics going on, synths and shit, and clean vocals now. They're all over the place, and their sound sounds massive. They sound like this huge band. And I think they are. They're like a six piece, but it's just like too much for me almost at times. I feel like they could simplify their
mhm.
tracks, reduce a lot of the shit that they're doing, and it could be a really solid track. But I don't know. My 2 cents.
So on to I have a subject that I've been wanting to bring up in one of these podcasts, but I feel like since it's one of those heavier subjects, kind of like trying to find a balance of uh, from the fatherhood subject and death metal subject, making sure it's a good balance. But when it comes to kind of like what we talked about in the last episode, oh, actually, I guess not with like the last episode, but when it comes to your kids, how do you, when it comes to like talking about very heavy subjects and stuff like that that they might have heard or seen or whatever, how do you get through to them? Do you do it in a soft manner or do you actually just go full force like, hey, this is what this is? When it comes to like heavy subject matters like death, divorce, um, never seeing someone again, stuff like that. How do you have you had to handle that with your kids at all or have any
I
of those kind of
haven't.
talks?
Yeah, no. I mean, we haven't had a death in the family like that she would be aware of in the recent years, and so it's like my uncle, he passed. I think it was just last year, but I don't think she was old enough to really understand that, and so it's like I don't think we've encountered that yet, and we haven't really had a situation where we've had to discuss it. But I kind of already know what I would do, and I'm just kind of like a upfront kind of guy. I don't want to mask that shit really and create this disbelief or make her think that something's not what it is. So it's like when death does come, if it's an animal that she sees or it be a family member that we, unfortunately have to see in a funeral home or something like that, I will just kind of let her face the music like, hey, yeah, this is death. Like she died or they died, and this is just part of a lot, part of life, honey. I mean, this is what happens. Um, I don't know. I don't really know how to do it other than that. It's just I know myself, and it's just I don't want to, I guess you could open-ended that and leave it with like, if she asks something to the tune of, "Will I see her again? Is she coming back?" Or, maybe someday. That might be my response. Kind of leave it, open-ended for now
I
until
gotcha.
she's at an age where I feel she can really receive that, and understand it fully. But it's like, I don't know. What about you? Have you had to come
Um,
across this yet? Or
we've had a couple talks like that. And kind of like you, I kind of just am, I don't want to lie to her. I don't want her to think that like, oh, they're just going away for a little bit. They'll be right back kind of thing. No, I want her
right,
to understand and kind of have like to where when she gets older, it's not as hard of a blow. Like I feel like the younger age you get introduced to it, as long as it's not in a shocking way, they can be better acclimated to it. But just kind of letting her know, like, hey, it's called death. Like think of it as a forever nap kind of thing. Like your body just kind of is done kind of thing. And
Hmm.
obviously kids are kids, so they're going to ask more and more questions and stuff like that. To where one day she asked me, "Are you going to die one day?" And I kind of had to be blunt with her. It's like, yeah, I mean, every single person will eventually. She gets sad, and then it's like, don't worry, it's not a hopefully it's not a soon thing. It's one of those things that, like, don't worry about that. Focus on, and that's one of the reasons why I do want to be blunt with. There's like, be more appreciative of the people you have around you. Appreciate the time you have, the life you have, kind of thing,
Right.
stuff like that. And that's for death. And then she also had a one of her best friends at her daycare got diagnosed with cancer,
Oh
like
shit.
had a brain tumor and had to keep you doing chemo for a while. And
Jeez, dude.
that was something we had to kind of sit her down and explain to her what that was as well. Which
That's a
since we already had the death
ginormous
talk,
fear. Like
yeah,
I couldn't imagine walking a kid through that. Like, come on, dude. That's gotta be fucking one of the toughest things in the whole world.
hmm
It's just crazy that that shit still happens and that there's no, absolute prevention or immediate help of that relief. It's just it sucks.
hmm
But yeah, dude, it's like that's the reality of it. I mean, life is very beautiful, but can also be very cruel. So, you know,
yeah,
it's just it's a hard place to navigate. But I think that I think that as a parent, you can just I think you should be able to find a natural way to talk to your kids, about those things. I think it just not everyone's going to have the same answer to their kid, but I think that they should. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm saying. Just kind of riffing, but I think that most parents, for the most part, are going to be able to tell them in some way and them understand to a certain extent. So, but I
yeah,
think as she gets older, she's obviously going to grasp it more and more. So it's one of those roads I'll have to cross at some point.
hmm yeah. And it also gets brought up with religion with stuff. So like obviously, me and Danny have different views on things. But when it comes to the kids, I love whatever they want to believe. I'll support it, whatever. And
Yeah.
Annie has kind of fallen into. She's gotten super into going to church and being like talking about God and stuff. So that's kind of also helped a little bit, where she has a thinking of heaven. She's like, "Are they in heaven, Eddie?" Yeah, sure. They're in heaven. Whatever. I think that helps a little bit with kind of like softening the blow a little bit. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, I
that
mean, and we're pretty much kind of very similar in this household. So it's Lex is the far more religious one than myself. I went to church with a few friends in my childhood and, did a couple visits, have read some lines out of the Bible. Obviously can't cite it or anything like that, but um, I don't know. I was raised to be really open-minded. I remember at a really young age. I don't remember the age specifically, but I remember asking both of my parents one day. I just had a fucking day of curiosity. Hey, Mom, do you believe in God? And she was like, yeah, but you know, she was she was raised as pretty as Baptist, and they went to this Baptist church, and I guess she had an extreme preacher or pastor,
mhm.
um and they were like the shouty type, very like in your face, like fear
Mhm.
God, hell is coming. I don't know, that kind of shit. And so I think she had a sour taste in her mouth her whole life from that kind of stuff and felt that it was very pressuring on her, but she still held this belief in God. And so, kind of piqued my interest. I was like, huh, okay. So, and then I remember asking my father, like around the same day or same time, and hey, Dad, do you believe in God? And he's like, no, but you can if you want to. And I was like, huh, interesting. Okay. And so, that like kind of molded my life like to this day. I've always kind of been like that. So I've always kind of kept an interest just to gain the basic knowledge of it. What is it about? Okay. And then, I'll kind of delve into it a little bit, and I kind of learned about it through the years. But I always kept that mindset. And I didn't just take my dad's train of thought and imprint it on my brain, but I honestly really loved their each one of their openness into the availability, that it was optional for me. I certainly was not forced into anything by any means. And um I don't know, I feel like that was a really an important thing for me. I felt it was like kind of almost um just like this freedom of belief. And so I don't know, I respected it. I didn't, go and shit on churches or like, cool, I'm gonna be a Satanist, you know. And so I was just like, but I investigated, and like still to this day, like I don't know. I don't know what I do believe. I mean, I think that there is a higher power, probably. I mean, I tend to think of us as ants on a farm. Really. I mean, I don't know. We're just these tiny organisms living on this grassy land in parts of the world. So I don't know, man. That's just kind of always been my train of thought. So it's interesting, with Lex and how that kind of came together. Like I remember when we first met, she came into my apartment. I had a fucking Behemoth poster, an Immortal poster, Damned in Black, and the Behemoth one was they were on their it was their Evangelion um, album release, and so it's a poster from there. But he's got like these two little persons, if you will. Um, I don't want to be offensive by any means, but they were on chains and leashes. Uh, and this is Behemoth's poster. Okay, I'm not making this shit up, but um, and then it's just Behemoth standing back there in their makeup and get up, and he had that badass mask on, just like, doing a typical metal pose. Badass poster. I don't know. I always loved it. I thought it was really cool. But now that I think about it, it's really weird. But I think it's in my shit somewhere. I just got to dig it out. But so I had that on my wall, the Immortal poster, and I remember like one of her first reactions, she just like walked into that room and she like could not keep her eyes off of it. Like, what is that? I was like, oh, it's just a metal band. And so, like to me, it was casual. It was fine. It was just fucking Behemoth. I mean, I've been listening to him for a while at that point, and but to her, being where she came from and stuff, it was fucking obscure through the roof. So that was interesting. But I don't know. She was open to what I had to say, apparently. I mean, here we are in a decade later and a couple babies. So I don't know, man. Yeah, she was religious and is still very religious, but I respected her open-mindedness and the feelings mutual. I used to kind of be like this angsty little asshole anti-religion dude in like my early 20s, late teens. I felt like I really got like that. I kind of got my most anti-religious. And to some aspects, I still am in ways. Like the whole money collecting thing, shit's weird. Some of these church positions are paid, but they're not taxed. It's like, so a lot of that shit is weird, but I think a lot of that comes with the marriage of government and religion. And that's probably my biggest, like, eh, you know, my biggest turn away to it. So I understand that that's not everywhere. And I understand that religion to a lot of people has saved their life. And so for those reasons, I learned that as I got older and just I grew to respect it. But yeah, I was definitely an asshole about it at one point, but it's an interesting concept. And so I guess what I meant to get at from all of that is with our kids, is she kind of took the lead on insinuating that, she wanted to raise them religiously. So I was like, okay, well, that's fine, but I don't know that I'm going to change in any way if that's your expectation. So we kind of just had this agreement. I was like, that's fine. And then, but I did reiterate that, if the day comes where they ask me, what my opinion is, I will tell it truthfully. And so, I think that I know what I'll say when that day comes, but who knows? I may be in a different mindset, but I don't know. Yeah, that's just I've pretty much been this way for quite a while now, so
Yeah.
but
I know you told me that before about if your kids ask you, you would be honest, and I've kind of adopted the same way. I've talked to Danny about it. And she was kind of hesitant at first, and I think for me, because I see how happy Annie is with it, and she is still young, I'm still planning on doing it, but probably till she's a little bit older. I still do kind of drop hints a little bit every now and then with like is this what happens? Is this what happens? And I kind of do like that's what some people believe kind of thing. So
is she like she's like, Jesus loves me, and then you're like, or does he? No.
no, nothing like that. Um, no, but
I'm kidding.
um, but yeah. Uh, Speaking of that, if you like podcasts and that's kind of like your thinking on stuff, I started checking
Yeah.
out this podcast. It's called Bible Stories for Atheists.
Oh, okay.
I think you might like. It sounds weird, but after like two episodes, like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Like they talk about certain Bible stories that I wasn't aware of, and, like going
Huh.
through the actual like story, what the biblical scholars say it actually means, then also like actual like secular scientists like explain like this happened during this period and stuff like that. And so kind of like from an atheist perspective. So like, all right, well, this is
Interesting.
weird. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think I could dig that. That's pretty cool. And that's my main thing about like my adulthood with those things is like I think I will keep an open-mindedness to it, but I just don't see myself in being totally, you know, faithful and devout and, getting a baptism by any means or any of that, but I will still attend if that's what, she would like me to do. Sure,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't care, it ain't no biggie to me. So,
Yeah. I've been to a couple. But yeah, I'm kind of of the same mindset. I feel like as I get older, and the more I actually look into stuff and think, uh, try to think more abstractly about things, because obviously I was raised very, very Christianly. Grew up in a
yeah.
severely strict Christian Baptist house. Dad's a retired pastor. My mom played the organ, or the piano.
Wow.
So it was very strict. But as I've gotten older and farther
So,
away from it, it's
were you restricted film and music with this upbringing?
yes, I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of movies. And music was the same way, pretty much unless it was Christian. However, I found a way to like I could just go buy it and they'll never know. Like there was a movie Magic was like 8 blocks away, and they sold like uncensored CDs. But it was always like random ones, so it was kind of like Russian roulette of if you're gonna get a CD you like. But they had some metal there, so I'd walk there, buy the album, come back. Actually, I had a pretty good collection. But one day I was like 16. They went to clean my room for me, do me a favor, and they found some CDs and took a lot of them, took some hoodies, took some posters, and they put it in a trash bag and said, "You can have this back when you're 18." They took all my Lamb of God, all my Slipknot, some Cannibal Corpse, took my Lamb of God hoodie, my Every Time I Die poster. They even took some that like they weren't bad at all, but it was just because of the name. Like they took my All American Rejects CD, My Chemical Romance CD. Like these aren't bad. It's just because of the name you think it's evil or yeah. They yeah, a lot of stuff. I wasn't allowed to play video games rated mature, um, R-rated movies. You're cutting out. Can you hear me? Oh, there you go. You're back, I think. Nope. I can't hear you now.
Okay. No.
There you go.
Okay. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I was restricted a couple games. I never they were pretty open with the music. They didn't love the stuff that I was getting into at the time, but I don't know. It was just yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I'm gonna find a way to listen to it. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. I definitely had the friends that were restricted film and games and shit like that. And I remember the biggest game I was restricted was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but that's probably for good reason. But the fucking asshole at the I think it was Blockbuster at the time. I was going to buy one of the rented copies of it because they were one of the few Blockbusters that had it day after the release. And so I convinced my mom to take me to this Blockbuster out in BFE. And so he does, and then we go to get the game. We're at the checkout, and this guy's just like, "Have you played this one yet?" I'm like, "No, but I can't wait." He's like, "Oh, dude, it's pretty good." He's like, I was like, "Is it?" He's like, "Oh yeah, you can own several properties in this one, and even a strip club." I was just like, "Hey, my fucking mom's right there, dude. Thanks." And and my mom's just like, "What? You can own a strip club?" And I like make eye contact with the fucking dude, and he's just like, instantly realizes he just fucked up. And she was like, I don't want you playing this. I was like, no, 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 no. I won't buy the strip club. I won't buy the strip club. And I was just like, I was so pissed off. I was like, come on, please. I want the game. I want the game. I got the game. She ended up letting me get the game. So that was cool. But then I did some shit at school that was fucked up. I can't remember. Got grounded over it. She took my Grand Theft Auto for quite a while. I was
So how'd your
fucking
strip club
pissed.
business go?
It was great. It was one of the first things I did. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see
I'll
the
show
titties.
you, Mom.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Blockbuster
Like,
guy.
come on, man. If at that age, if you tell the kid no, they're just gonna want to do it that much more.
Hmm.
It's like you might as well let them do it and just watch, supervise. She should have watched me by the strip club. Like, all right, but as long as I can watch. It's like, okay.
Yeah, my parents were super strict where I couldn't, even if it had blood in it, they were very questionable. Like, remember the old on PS1 siphon filter?
Oh, dude, I loved that game.
Hmm. It had blood in it. So my parents were, every now and then they'd
Oh,
walk in
wow.
and say blood. It's like, no, 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 turn it off. Had to play
Wow.
Mortal Kombat with the cheat code of the blood off.
Oh my God. That's got to be the lamest cheat code for Mortal Kombat ever.
Yep,
No
there's a cheat
blood.
code. There's
Holy
cheat code for
shit.
more blood, and there's a cheat code for no blood, and that was the one I had to
That's
use.
crazy.
If I got
Oh, that's
caught playing it with
crazy.
blood on, I would get in trouble.
What do the fatalities look like with no blood? Did you
There
just see
weren't.
the spine rip
You
out and
weren't allowed. I
dry?
don't think you
No.
were allowed to do fatalities with that cheat code.
That's crazy. Damn, that's such a stupid cheat code to make. We need to make a cheat code for no blood. Someone's going to think that that's awesome. But I mean, I guess it worked out perfect for you.
Yeah.
You're
Otherwise, we
like, no,
probably
no,
wouldn't
no,
have been
no,
able to
no,
have the
wait.
game.
I got a solution.
'Cause I think my brother
That's
actually bought Mortal Kombat. My parents were like, well, it's in the house now. But my parents were actually even the same way with my brother John. Apparently, when he was growing up, he got the Megadeth Euthanasia album, which I don't know if anyone
mm.
knows the cover, but it's this old lady putting babies on a clothesline. Like,
Oh shit, no. I don't even think I've seen that one.
it's more of it's not like violent, but it's more like they're all like happy and stuff, like putting their toes
Oh,
in and
okay.
stuff like that. But it's like supposed to be like shocking a little bit. My
Yeah.
parents found it and put it on the front porch and said, "You can keep it, but it's not allowed in the house." And it was like either
Wow.
cassette or like a vinyl. I don't know which it was. So obviously he's like, "Well, I'm fucked. I can't do anything with it now."
Yeah. Damn, what a bummer. So was your brother a big influence on your I guess he probably went through all this before you did. So it did
Yes.
what was the first like instance where you saw he was getting into heavy music? Because I assume he was getting into heavy before you were, right?
Yes, very much so. I remember he was getting into, I remember going into his room and he had a Corn poster, Deftones. He was listening to like Slipknot and Mudvayne. And I remember my parents made him get rid of a poster or something about his music was like, it's changing him. He's becoming different kind of thing. I remember that was a big thing. And then he moved, and then like he got his own house and stuff. And I finally discovered Linkin Park, and I was like, John, I got this band called Linkin Park, and my brother's like, you're listening to Linkin Park,
Wow.
somewhat metal? Like, yeah. He's like, all right. He's like, lets me spend the night at his house, and that's when he shows me like Slayer's Disciple, um,
Oh wow.
the Metallica. I was like, ah, it was yeah. My brother was a big influence on me being uh hungry for more metal. He kept showing me
Oh
more and
yeah.
more stuff like that.
That's cool, man. I'd say he started you out right too. Showed
Hmm.
you like the old school greats and
Hmm.
then ease your way into it. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Props to him.
Yeah, it was very shock. I remember I was very shocked at the Slayer's Disciple because obviously growing up with how my parents were, how I was,
Oh
then all
yeah.
of a sudden just
That's
Slayer's.
crazy.
Oh my
Slayer's like the
God.
anti-Ledbetter household.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Speaking of all this, since we're talking about blasphemy and all this stuff, are you ready to do some Behemoth album ranking?
Shit, yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So, for those of you who are listening, me and him have discussed a newer method of doing this. So it's actually more fair. We're not doing this whole like I think this should be higher and we can't compromise thing. This way we're gonna do is we're gonna go in order of the albums that were released, and we're each gonna give our own score at 1 through 10. It can be anything between 1 through 10. You can say six, you can say 6.5, you can say 6.72539, whatever you want. And we just add up our scores and we'll rank them off the who has the highest scores.
That's so cool. I think that's such a great idea. And I gotta pee.
All right, I'm gonna get some more beer.
All right, sweet. Sorry, I had to get some beef jerky. It sounded really good.
I gotcha. All right. Oh, one more ground rule I thought about today. I think we should probably all. I don't think we'll have this problem with this episode, but okay, first. I would say um, when it comes to giving albums 10 out of 10, no more than 30% of the discography can you give that score to. You can't just like, if we have
Mm,
like 10 albums, you can't just give them all 10 out
it's
of
a
10s
10.
and just like
It's a 10.
10.
It's a
That's a
10.
10. Like, all right, then I guess I'm just, this one person is just given thing.
Fair enough.
Everything else you can give whatever score as many times as you want. But
Okay.
uh, 10 out of 10, you can only get to about 30% of discography. So for this
I
one,
like this. This is getting real strategic. I'm really digging this now. So let me get this right real quick first. Okay, so the new ranking, we're going to do 1 through 10. Now, are we combining our scores and that's going to be a 1 through 20
yes,
album?
yes.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I'm just, if you hear a little background noise, I'm skimming this new album because I didn't listen to it one time. So I just got to make sure I don't love it real quick. But
Here we go. All
it's
right.
weird. It kind of sounds live.
I have my opinion on it, but I'll get to that one because I have a theory on it. Um,
Oh, actually, I did. I listened to some of this of my Herculean Exile. I do remember a couple off this one, actually. They're such a fun band. I do got to say that about Behemoth. I've liked them for a really long time now, but even skimming this new album, yeah, it may not be the greatest of what I've heard of them, but I still, like I don't know. There's something about black metal in the fall and the winter. Like it's,
mhm.
you know, I think Immortal's the king of black metal in winter, obviously, because
Oh
every song
yeah.
sounds about wintertime.
Hmm.
Um, but it I think I'll probably throw this on in the fall. I might like it then. But yeah. Anyways,
All right.
where are we starting this bitch at? And how many of their albums are we doing?
We're
This
doing
is gonna be
only their
crazy.
studio albums, so we're not doing EPs or demos or live albums.
Okay.
Just their straightforward what they consider their actual studio full length albums. So that would be what is it, 12 of them? I want to say it's 12, isn't it? Three,
Uh,
six, nine, yeah, 12.
yeah.
So it's probably best we changed our rankings this way, uh, instead of actually having it in our minds like, "Ah, I had this one higher, I had this one lower." This way we can just do
Yeah.
a general feel of like how we feel about the album. Don't have to actually have a full in-depth opinion on it.
Yeah,
Up
this is gonna make
first,
the chart way more even and fair, I think.
yeah, because I feel like it's going to go as both equal say.
Hmm.
Um, up first, we have their debut, Sventivis, Storming Near the Baltic. Um,
Okay.
this is doing this list is the first time I've ever listened to their old early black metal stuff. For me, it was okay. It's pretty good early black metal, in all honesty, but this isn't what I love Behemoth for. Came out in 1995. Still, it's for a debut black metal album in 1995. This is actually pretty fresh sounding. Feels like it's pretty good
Hmm.
production based off of what was happening at the time.
Yeah, I want to say that it was either this one or Grom. Was Grama is that on there too? Is that
Yeah,
a
it's the
full
second
album?
one. Yeah, that's over
Okay,
here.
okay. I always get those two mixed up, but they I want to say they recorded one of them on literally a cassette tape, and I don't know which one it was. It might have been this one though, Sventiveth.
I'd say probably Sventivis because I feel like Grom um, sounded slightly better production wise. For me, I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it a 4.
Okay. I think I remember the track from the Pagan Basslands on this one. That's the most memorable that comes to mind. But I did go through a period where I jammed both Grom and this one. Um, and this was when me and Caleb were really delving into black metal history. And so I think we listened to these full albums, but it's been so damn long since I've been there. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Sventvith a 2.
2. All right. So we were given altogether Sventis is 6. I bet that'll probably be our lowest ranking one. Up next we have the follow up to that, and that is Grom. How did you feel about Grom? Came out in 1996.
Um, Grom, I I'm trying to think. It this one's not really crazy memorable. Now I see Freezing Moon, so I guess they covered Freezing Moon, and this was a 2 disc CD. Freezing Moon, at least on Spotify, this is coming up as a two
Okay.
disc release, and so Freezing Moon is the first track on the second disc, so that's pretty cool. And it kind of looks like maybe the second disc is just like some live tracks and then some covers. I don't know if any of
So is it
those are
maybe like a
actual.
bonus disc?
Yeah, maybe. But that's pretty sweet. I mean, I think that's kind of awesome because Freezing Moon is obviously a fucking huge black metal song.
Mm-hmm.
Mayhem if you don't know it, but um I do remember listening to this with Caleb, but it's very early, very raw, very black metal, you know. Behemoth obviously took a turn in towards the black and death, and they were far from that at this point. They were very much still in the black metal era. I don't know. It wasn't bad, but I'll go ahead and I'll give it a 3.
Okay. I'm kind of in the same um, thought process with it because I love Behemoth, but I love it more for their black and death style. This is still where
Mhm.
there's zero death. It's purely black. It's a lot like their debut. It's just slightly better in production. So for that, I'll give it a 4.5. So that makes it up to a 7.5. Um, I was really for me, it was really just listening to it to check the box and kind of like, all right, this is what this one sounds like. Um, if
Yeah,
Behemoth didn't have the career they had after, these might be pretty good albums. Just the fact that we
right.
know what they did after, so it's good starting point. It's good for what was going on in black metal at that time.
Sure.
All right. Up next, we have so the next two albums are not on Spotify. I had to listen to them on YouTube. Um, Up next, we have, I think it's Pandemonic Incantations. I don't know when this came out. It's not on Spotify. I had to listen on YouTube.
Um,
Supposedly,
oh, okay. Is this an EP or no?
no, this is
This
a
is
full length.
okay. I wonder why
This
it's not on
is
Spotify. That's weird.
so this and Satanica. I think it's Satanica. Yeah,
Oh
Satanica and
yeah,
this
Satanica.
are not on here on Spotify. For some reason, they
Huh.
used to be. I listened to them on YouTube. Supposedly, according to Wikipedia, this is when they incorporated the death metal. However, listening to it, it doesn't sound like if it is, it's not the same. It's not the same like how if you were to say later it was like 50-50. I would say this is like 90-10, 90% black metal, maybe a little bit of death metal. His screams are it's they you can tell they're wanting to do something a little bit different, but not that much different from their old stuff. It's still great production, a little bit more focused, but I would give it a 5. I'll give it a 5.
What is there any like standout songs on this album? Because
Uh,
it's not really ringing a bell right now.
I
I
don't
I can't
remember.
remember
Let
if I
me
listened to this or
look
not.
because I can't go to my handy dandy Spotify.
Yeah, that's what sucks. That's what I
Pandemonic
have up right now, but it's not doing me any good
Incantations
here.
came out in 1998. Uh, The Thousand Plagues Eyewitness. In thy pandemata, I can't. In thy pandematernum.
Hmm.
Those ones sound familiar. The entrance to the spheres of Mars. Yeah, other than that, it's very unmemorable. Actually, let me get a 4.5. Same as Grom. I feel like it's on
Okay.
the same level.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 2
All right, so that picks it
because
at
don't remember it.
6.5.
Not sure. I mean, I've listened to a lot of Behemoth. I'm sure I've heard it somewhere, but not coming to me right now. So throw it at a 2.
All right, just a second. Got to add row. Add row above. There we go. Cha. So 6.5. We have pandemonic incantations. All right. Now this is where Behemoth's discography got more fun. Satanica. So this is where
Yeah. Does this have Hello Space Boy on it?
hello what?
They did a David Bowie cover. Hello Space Boy.
Let me check.
That was so fun. I guess I might as well look up Satanica. I know the cover. It's like such a crazy cover. It's like him with like a horn on his coming out of his head,
It
right?
does have a song that I know you hate, it's not that we hate. So if you are familiar with Behemoth, you know what we're talking about. If you're not, and you do the same thing we did, there's a song on here. Get ready to be very familiar with it because it shows up a lot. The chant for Escatan 2000.
Oh, hell yeah. That one's on
It's a
here.
great
Okay, I knew
song,
there was a big one on it. Yeah, it is.
great song, but for some reason they just put it on randomly on. They put it randomly on what was it? The Apostasy, I think. And then it just they came out with its own EP years later. It's on anytime there's additional bonus music on it, this song always appears on it. It always
They
sneaks in
also, this
somehow.
is one of their encore songs. They'll also either end a set with this or come out if they get an encore with it. It was absolutely huge, but I honestly really fucking love that song. I think it's a great one, but it is interesting all the re-recordings and shit on it that they have.
Hmm. Yeah, this is where Behemoth kind of hit this. I would say they had this style of sound for the next probably 6 albums. They've kind of found their groove of combining death and black metal,
Hmm.
and completely different vocals. Still Nurgle the entire time, but it's a lot more fun. I would give this one a give it a 6.
I think that this is where they kind of broke into that newer style of clear production that you hear on that record. And yeah, like you said, it kind of lasts for the next several albums. So, but I'm gonna give this one a 4. It's definitely my favorite of what we've listened so far. So, Chant for Eschaton is badass if you haven't heard that song.
All right. Up next we have Thelem. Is it Thelema or Telema? Point 6.
I always call it Thelema 6 or Thelema 6.
I got you. This is their Thelema 6 is their fifth studio album. Just missed it by a
The
little bit,
cover's
but
so interesting, isn't it?
yeah, I don't. I feel like, although I feel like it's also fitting for the time it came out in 2000. I feel like that was the vibe back then. That kind of like kind of it reminds me of that one Dimmu Borgir album with
Yeah, very kind of makeup-y and shit. It's like,
kind of like a high contrast but like darker.
he's kind of doing like the blue steel look. Pretty funny. I can't unsee it now.
This album is it follows up very much the same as Satanica. It has some good songs on it. It has Christians to the Lions, Natural Born Philosophers. I feel
Yeah.
like this is kind of on the same par as Satanica.
Hmm.
I would give this one a 6 as well.
Yeah, I think I'd give this. Oh, this okay. Hello, Space Boy. That was on this album, Dilemma 6. That's a David Bowie cover. It's pretty badass. I actually really like that song. But this album's fun. From the Pagan Vastlands, that's on there too. One of the ending tracks. I guess that's a bonus, probably re-recorded or some shit. Um, but yeah, I really dug this album a lot. Christians to the Lions do that. It's so like catchy. It like sticks in my brain. But hell yeah, Dilemma 6. I'll give this one a 4.
All right, so we have two at 10. If we have ties like this, we'll go back through when we get closer to the end, kind of break these ties.
Yeah. Damn
All right.
cat, what's out? Yeah. Okie dokie. Up next, we
Up
got
next, Zos Kia Cultus.
Zoskia Cultus.
And I really like this for the old early Behemoth. This is probably one of my favorites. This has a lot of great songs on it. Horns of Baphomet, Modern Iconoclast, As
As
Above, So
above, so
Below.
below. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, this album is badass.
I do feel like
And
this one has a more of a death metal feel than the other ones. Like they all combine, but this has more death metal, it feels like. Well, instead of a 50-50, almost like a 60-40.
yeah, for sure. Man, this is like I really need to delve through old Behemoth, man. They've just gone on such a journey of sound. Like
Mm-hmm.
they really have when you think about it. But yeah, dude, this album's a solid banger. It's so cool. Like I remember when I had my white Tiburon, I had that Behemoth sticker on the back of it. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you remember that or not,
Yeah.
but I was on the highway, dude, heading to I think Eldon from Jeff City on 54, and I there's this car that like sped up, and I'm pretty sure did like a bam bam, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even do anything. But then I looked at his license plate, and it was Zos Kia. I was like, no fucking way, dude. He had like a purchased specialty license plate, Zos Kia. I was like, man, you got to be a really big fucking behemoth, a way bigger Behemoth fan than me to have your license plate Zos Kia. I mean, I was like, oh, it's got to be for Behemoth, right? You know, because I think he had a bunch of band stickers on there too. So I thought that was badass. It's like, wow, that's crazy. What are the odds?
Was it a Kia car? Kia vehicle?
Hmm. No, that would have been so cool though. If they just got a sticker that said Zos right before the Kia. Zos Kia Soul.
All right. So I'm gonna give this I'm gonna give this a 7.
I'd give this sucker a 5.
All right. So that puts this at 12. All right. And up next is a big one. It is Demigod.
Oh fuck, man.
This is the first time I ever heard of them. Found them through a Guitar Player magazine. Um,
Hmm.
it was kind of scary at the time because, like I said, with the upbringing I had, this is not something I was expecting. But
Spooky,
yeah,
spooky.
yeah. Now that I'm older, now that I've gone back and listened to it, this is a fucking great album.
Fuck yeah, it
Especially
is.
the horns at the beginning of Demigod, as Sculpting the
Mm.
Throne of Seth kind of fades out, and then the horns pick up for Demigod. Just
Yeah, fuck yeah. That was the first time I listened to a metal album and I felt like I was riding into battle. And then like the most gnarliest demonic, like he literally, I think he like had such an achievement on this album of sounding like a demon. Like he sounds straight up like a demon that is summoned in this album. Like it's so wild. I never understood how he achieved those tones, and it's just like now obviously I get where it's at, but clearly on this album he fucking like probably triple layered those vocals. Fucking they're super compressed, fucking packed full of production shit. So, but I fell in love with this album, dude. Fell in love with it, front to back. It's a fucking banger. This is when I really became a big Behemoth fan. But same kind of experience to me. I think it was one of my first introductions to Behemoth. I had a disc. It was like from one of the metal magazines, maybe Metal Hammer or something like that, or some compilation. No, it might have been the record label. Maybe a Century Media at the time. I think this was a Century Media release, but they had the song Demigod on there. And I think Celtic Frost Monotheist was another one. They had another song on there on that same CD. But anyways, um, yeah, dude, hearing Demigod, the horns, and then the whole song, it's a wild ride. And then it would end, and I remember listening to it first and I was like, huh, that was interesting. But then it's just one of those things. Like I felt like I was hearing the horns in my head. I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, I gotta listen to that fucking song again, dude. And it's just the next thing I know, I'm fucking going back and back to that Behemoth track. Fucking delve the album. Oh, I fell in love with it, dude. I was hooked. So hell yeah, Demigod, dude. Chef's kiss. I absolutely love this album so much.
What score would you give this one?
I'm gonna fucking give this album a 9.
Okay, this is the highest I've seen you by a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this an 8. So that'll put this at 17. That's
Hell yeah.
pretty high. Yeah.
And I will say that I feel like they're straying from playing Demigod songs. Like, I would love a reunion tour of Demigod, man. That's one
Hmm.
thing that like I haven't seen black metal bands do. They're not doing reunion tours where they're playing all in, full, where, Casey Strain like did the continent thing. And
Hmm.
that's kind of like an interesting dynamic I just thought of, but I don't know why. I think that people would love this shit, but
And I want to say
yeah.
this is the album that they first ever toured in the States. I want to say, if I remember an interview right. Does that sound right? Because I want to say
I
I heard
don't
an interview
know.
like that.
I'm not sure about that one. But possibly. Oh, 04. I mean, this is when they really broke the scene. I mean, I heard a lot of buzz about Behemoth right around this when this album came out, and ever since this album, I felt like they were always really prominent.
All right, up next, we have 2007's The Apostasy. So when I first bought this album, I didn't care too much about it. I felt like it was just the same as Demigod, but doing this list and listening to it all the way through again, it's it's not, I would say it's
Uh,
not as good as Demigod, but it's still pretty fucking good.
it's great. My one harp on this album is that they didn't keep the same production as Demigod. I felt like they had a swift switch. And for some reason, I feel like when I listen to this record, even still to this day, I'm like, God, why is this not more fucking clear? Like it just sounds fuzzy. It sounds like too low a volume. I always want to turn it up way past than what my phone will let me. And I never understood that. It's like, whereas Demigod, I feel like it's a really appropriate volume when I crank that fucking thing. But this album always kind of like it stays in like the quieter kind of, you get like a lot of clashing with like the cymbals and shit, but I don't know. So that's my one ticker on this album. But aside from that, I love this album almost just as much as Demigod. I think it's a solid fucking album. At the Left Hand of God, that's such a killer hit.
Hmm.
Dun, 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 dun. Hell yeah. Tons of bangers on this one. Craig's Philosophy, weird giant one word name there, but Limber Theme, Inner Sanctum, Pazuzu, that song I was talking about a couple episodes that's on this one. They also did another Chant for Eschaton 2000 EV. It's like, I guess they're just keeping it rolling, whatever. That's cool though. Sure. I'll take it. Um, but yeah, I love this album, man.
Yeah, this is listening back to this one. Demigod and Evangelion. It does make me miss this era because this is when they kind of combine that. It's still the Black Death metal, but they have more themes of like old cultures and gods and stuff. I kind of miss
Hmm.
that aspect of it because like they have the prophets of Isa, Pazuzu, and stuff like that. Then they have those like how Demigod had those old war horns and stuff like that. I miss this vibe of Behemoth. I feel like this is a great
For
period.
sure.
Um,
For sure. I remember he was getting into a lot of shit on this album tour because I believe that this was the one where he took the Bible at a crowd and then literally like dipped his hand in blood or something and then like wrote lies on the page and then just starts fucking ripping out pages and like fucking tossing it. I was like, oh shit. That was like at a live show. I think they got fucking canceled from Poland in this, which was their home state or, country, whatever. Um, but it yeah, a lot of controversy around the Behemoth world on this album run, but even the cover, man, I'm drawn by this cover so much. I feel like I can look at it for a very long time and just find more and more shit. It's very cool. But isn't this what we were talking about? Is this cover supposed to be the demon Pazuzu or something like that?
no, this is
Has
I
eight
think
arms.
no, Pazuzu only has he has two arms and four like two wings, but they're kind of like two wings up here, two wings down here, and then he's doing this number. I
Oh,
would
okay.
almost say it's closer to demigod, like that, like one hand up, one hand down, like as above, so below, kind of thing. This I think is supposed to
Okay.
be Vishnu from Hindu, I believe.
Hmm. Okay.
The multi-armed, like and they holding a head,
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a
but he
head and a bunch of knives and shit.
but he has a weird face, so I don't know. I don't know what's
He
going on.
does. Well, I think it's a mask. I think it's actually one of the masks that Nurgle sported on this tour run. I mean, I might be mistaken. I could be totally wrong, but it's kind of what it looks like to me. But yeah, it is definitely a weird face.
So what would you give this one?
Ah. I think I'm gonna give this one an 8.
Okay. I'm probably
Really
going to
enjoyed
give
it.
this a 8 as well. I would say it's for me it's about on par as Demigod. It's just
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's kind of just whatever in the mood because I feel like Demigod has higher points. I feel like I can listen to every single song without skipping on this one. So they both have their own things. I had a robot in below. Okay. Apostasy. Is it apostasy or apostate?
The apostasy.
Yep. All right. Up next, we have 2009's Evangelion. This was the first one I ever bought, and this is probably one, if not the my favorite album by them. Um, it's this is somewhere in between their death metal like old stuff, but right before Satanist where they got theatrical. So it's somewhere in between. There's a little bit of it, but not much. I love this album.
Absolutely. This is prime Behemoth. I think as far as album art goes, band aesthetics, makeup, the get up, the fucking live performances, and then absolutely the tracks. Front to back, this album is a nonstop banger album. I love every second of it. Every single second. I won't even skip a song when I throw this album on. And it was just prime Behemoth, man. This is going to be my 10 on the list. Absolutely.
Really,
Um, absolutely, dude. Absolutely, Evangelion. The way this album ended, particularly with the song Lucifer, that long drawn out, and then at the end of it, they just fucking go into a banger. Also, the videos went they got crazy big on this release, obviously, but the videos were just so brutal. And the video Lucifer, they like it halfway through the video, they end up just like breaking down on their knees. They're in this crazy ass makeup. They just start squirting out this foamy fucking type shit out of their mouth. It just looks terrible. And then in the video for of Fire in the Void at the end when they're just fucking sitting on the table, they got the angel in front of them, they're just ripping out the wings and fucking eating them. I'm like, oh my God, dude. This video's fucking brutal. How did they get away with this shit? But that's what I love about it. It's like they got so crazy into it. And I mean, aside from the singles, which I think this album they picked the perfect singles, it sucked me into the hype. This was a total sell as far as hype living up to what the album was. It really went all the way. But aside from the singles, dude, like you still got the opening track, Diamonos, then Shemaforash. I feel like I always say those wrong. But and then A Fire in the Void. I was migrating beyond realms of Amenti. Like, dude, it's a nonstop album. It's
Mhm.
a nonstop awesome album. I love it so much.
And I feel like this had one of their biggest song at that time with "A Fire in the Void" because I remember even people who don't listen to black metal, they don't listen to death metal, they don't listen to Behemoth, but they would put on this song like, "Oh yeah, this is that one song with that cool riff that like it
Yeah,
was a very
super
popular
catchy.
song for them."
Absolutely super catchy.
So if this, I know this is your 10. I would. I'm probably also gonna give this a 10. I was either gonna say a 9 or a 10. I forgot we can give multiple tens, so I will give this one of
Okay.
my tens.
Oh
Uh,
wow,
so
the
this will give
champion.
this one a perfect 20 out of 20.
That's gonna be the champion mountain there.
So that is that one, and yeah, it's a banger of an album. And that's what's going to be hard about this next one because it is also another amazing album. So
The
for those who don't
next
know
one's pretty
Behemoth,
good too.
yeah, for those who don't know Behemoth, right after I think it was while they were touring is when he found out he had lymphoma or leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
Almost died, somehow beat it, and then comes out with Satanist. And I think you
Yeah.
were telling me about
Yeah.
this. He they were trying to convert him while he was dying, and he said he just like refused. And then he just comes out with Satanist like, man, he beat death and he's still on this. Man, hats off to this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like a big thing for him at the time. I think I remember going to see them around this time, but he had already like had the short hair. He had the long hair through the Evangelion, and then I think right after that album went through the cancer spell. Beat it, came out on top. Just like fuck you, I didn't have to believe to, beat your bullshit. And then yeah, it was just a slap in the face to all the Christians against Behemoth. But um yeah, dude, they returned with another stellar album. I mean, I don't think this quite lived up to Evangelion phase for me, but still super solid. Still super solid. I can pretty well listen to this one front to back too, so and enjoy all of it.
I gotcha. For me, I would say I love this probably as much. So Evangelion, I feel like I have more nostalgia. Satanist, I love. This is so Satanist is going to get my other number 10 because I feel like it was a drastic change in sound. There's still some
Hmm.
songs that have kind of a little bit of their old sound, but this is when they actually like they were like all the other albums. They were working the clubs, going up to the biggest. This is the highlight. This is the big stage. Was Satanist, in my opinion. This is when they got super theatrical. Uh, like with the title track of Satanist, with that, it's a very slow song, moody song, and it ends with those
Hmm.
horns and the just crazy. Everything's going crazy. They do this several times in the album, like with "Blow Your Horn" or is it "Blow
Blow
Your
your
Horn, Blow Your
trumpets.
Trumpet," Gabriel.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, that's a stellar song. Ugh.
Ora Pro Nobis Lucifer, Ben Sahar, Messa Noir. This is another album that I think you can just listen to straight to back. However, it is very different from what everything they've done before. But for me, I'm
Very
gonna give it a
different.
number 10. Where are you getting?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
They took a different route for sure from Evangelions, and so I think coming off of that, they probably lost some fans. They definitely lost uh, uh, a ripping death metal aspect to them.
Hmm.
I can't quite, pinpoint what that was because they still have Inferno on the drums, who is one
Hmm.
of the absolute most killer drummers of all time. But uh, Nurgle definitely had a change up in the riffs. Like he definitely they almost you could say started to go more hard rockish in areas. Not totally on this album, but certainly the one after. But um, I think that kind of started to the seeds were starting to be planted on this album.
Hmm.
Um, it was especially like Blow Your Trumpets, Gabrielle. That's like that riff's so like kind of just simple, in terms of like Behemoth, what they have done.
Hmm.
Down, 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 down. Just pretty easy, but such a banger of a song, super catchy. Um, yeah, I think I give this a 7, but it definitely is an enjoyable album.
I gotcha. So up next is I Loved You at Your Darkest. So this is
I
where
gotta
I was
pee.
talking. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
So up next we have I Loved You at Your Darkest. So this is I was saying it earlier. I have a theory with these most recent two albums. Um, with this one, I feel like they saw how big they got with the Satanists, and they probably still had some songs left on the cutting room floor from that album. They're like, "Hey, well, this album is really popular. Let's take these songs and just put them on a new album and just write a whole album based on the right around these songs and just make an album from that." That was the vibe I got from this album. It felt like leftovers from the Satanist. There still is some good songs on here. I do love the intro, the children choir singing that blasphemous stuff. Then Wolves of Siberia,
Solve.
which yeah, then Wolves of Siberia, which I feel like is the most straightforward black metal they've gone for a little bit. I love that song. Then God Equals Dog kind of goes back to that solve with that same line. However, I feel like the
Uh,
song's kind of weirdly paced. And then obviously, well, then they have was it Ecclesia? What's that song? Ecclesia Catholica.
Ecclesia Diabolica Catholica
Yeah, that
Catholica.
wasn't too bad. And then it goes into the most popular song that I get why it's popular. It was cool at first, but I'm a little tired of it, and that was Bart's Bell. Then after that, I get
Yeah.
very tired of this album.
Yeah, I Sabbath Mater, I think I'd go into that one, but aside from that, man, I'm right there with you on that. It's I think one of the more dull Behemoth albums, and it is absolutely a part two to the Satanist. Um, it's like I had the similar reaction that I did listening to this as when I did the Satanist. It just a, a little more or less interesting, I think,
Mm,
honestly. It's just with the Satanist, I was like, okay, good, cool, but it changed. With this, I was like, okay, all right. Disappointed. I mean, I hate to say I was disappointed, but I was kind of disappointed. I mean, I really miss the aggressiveness. I hate that, it's weird they're still writing metal, but he just sounds so different than what he used to do, man. Like
mm,
I'm missing that demigod fucking nastiness.
mm.
Give me like like I want the deep and shit, you know what I mean? But it's I don't know. I don't think we'll probably ever get that Nurgle again. That's okay. But this is just kind of like I don't know. They're representing their age in their music. And I don't mean to like that to sound bad, but it definitely seems like they're writing stuff that's going to be easier for them in this age to play rather than like,
Hmm.
obviously I think Demigod, I listen to that, like that's gotta be pretty challenging. That album's nuts. It sounds nuts. And same thing with, some of the shit even in Evangelion. So I don't know, man. Yeah, just lackluster. I'm gonna give this one a 5.
I think I'm gonna give it a 6, and I also think I was listening to it the other day, and I realized like it is a lot of just leftovers from the Satanists, and they even do some of the exact same things they did in Satanist in this album. Like the whole how I was saying with at the end of the song with Satanists, the end of William Trump's Gabriel, where they have the horns and they have everything just kind of goes crazy. That it almost like the world's collapsing kind of thing. They do that randomly on certain songs on this album, and it feels like you're just trying to make us. They're trying to. I feel like they're trying to capture the moment that was when the Satanists dropped. Like the whole metal community like hyped up that album. And I
Hmm.
feel like they're just trying to catch that flame, and it's not the same. It feels forced. It feels blah. It's not
Yeah.
it's not interesting anymore. So I'm gonna give it a 6, which would put this at 11. Create another row. Below. So that leaves us with their newest album. Um, I've listened to this all the way through twice now, and just like I said with "I Love You, Your Darkest," how that was the uh, leftovers from Satanist. I feel like this, I get the same vibes from this. This feels like leftovers from this
It's an upside down cross made out of upside down crosses.
with a snake on it.
Or well, I guess the top's the upright cross, but yeah. Kind of it's like can you get any more blasphemy than that?
It's a very cool cover. Like I love the white, the pure white of everything, and then
Yeah.
like the
Yeah, it's an
dark
interest
cross,
in the
the
gold
gold,
lettering.
yeah, and then the gold crown of thorns. Like it's a great cover. So I was hoping it would be great. But like I said, it feels so dull and like lifeless. None of the songs really stuck out. I feel like there was one song that kind of had a little bit of catchiness, kind of like what song is it? It has a little bit of
Well, the Deathless Son, it has this chant that he does, like, I say chant, but it's like kind of chantish. I am nothing without you, and it's
yep.
just like it's like yeah, for some reason that does get stuck in my head, but it's like one of those catchy things like I don't really want in my head. I'm like I don't like those lyrics. Like I don't. I know what he's saying. I guess he's like kind of going like I feel like he's talking to, I mean, I don't know, maybe he's talking to Satan, but I thought it was like kind of like a spit in the face talking about God, like he would be nothing without God because his purpose is to like blaspheme God or almost this thing. Maybe not, could be totally different, but anyways, um, it's just, I really didn't like how it sat. Like, I just, it's a catchy chant. Like for some reason it gets stuck in my head, but it's like I said, I don't really want it there when it is
Mm.
stuck.
And I do feel like that part that was the only part that actually like everything kind of was almost like water. It was just like everything passed. I couldn't pick anything out. It was just like same boring thing. That was the only thing that stuck out, but I feel like they only put that in there. I feel like a probably the record label or someone was like, you need something to like for people. One catchiness part is like, all right, we'll just throw this in there. Like it's very out of the blue out of this entire whole album, where there is something like chanty like that, something that can get you going. But like you said, it's like
Hmm.
it's a little too late with this album. I feel like where that's the only like exciting part of this whole album.
Yeah, I mean, I think of my Herculean Exile, that's the next track on it. Um, I remember spinning that track specifically a couple times, but I can't, off the top of my head, I can't really exactly remember the catchy points in it. But I don't know, man. I didn't stick to this album a lot. Yeah, like even the titles are just like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's that new Behemoth sound. Like this and the previous two albums, it's like a different band almost.
Hmm.
Like they sound so different, man, than what they used to. They kind of lost that rippingness, and it's unfortunate because I really was highly fond of that. So
I gotcha.
they're kind of losing me on as far as like upkeeping, but hopefully next one's maybe more interesting. I guess we'll see. But
I
for
gotcha.
this one, I think I'm gonna give this a 4.
All right, I'm gonna give this a. I'll give it a 5. Um, let's it at 9. So I do have another theory, and I've been thinking about it for a minute. So listening to this, I kind of realized it a long time ago when I first found this Zaskia Colta. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like Behemoth. They find a style they like that they want to write in, and they'll write that in like sections of three, almost like triptych pieces. So
That's
like
very
the
true.
first,
Like it's like looking at this, it's very phasey. Like
hmm
absolutely, you're very
like they
right
had the
in
first
that.
three albums are all black metal. Then they had the turn of the millennium era of this black and death metal, where it's still kind of early 2000s style of death metal and black metal,
Yeah,
like with Satanica, Thelema, Saskia, Kulta. Then they have this golden era of combining like
gold.
perfect balance of death and black, and like this old cultures with the demigod, apostasy, and evangelion. And then they have this new like theatrical, uh, kind of almost trying to get on radio a little bit more era with
Yeah, mainstream
Satanists and all that.
elements.
So hopefully, maybe their new album will start a new triptych, kind of new
Yeah,
trilogy. However, maybe we won't like that sound. We'll see. I don't know. But
yeah,
hopefully, the new one will be a different type of sound because that seems to be the pattern they are doing.
that would be cool. They just come out with like a ripping death metal. That'd be
Hmm.
badass. Maybe do some slam in it.
I don't think they'll go that far.
Yeah,
I do wish they would add more death metal into it.
that would be. Yeah, man. That's what I think I'm missing, dude. I'm missing that, and I'm missing that dirt nasty fucking Nurgle vocal.
Or
But
maybe they'll just
looks,
add a turntablist and be since they have toured with Slipknot, I feel like a couple times now.
yeah, that's weird too. Yeah, I don't see a lot of Slipknot fans like catching Behemoth. If they're just
Hmm.
if they're not like in depth with the metal world and all of its crazy ass genres. I feel like a lot of Slipknot fans might be just uh stick to Slipknot because that's their heaviest of their, and then they're done. They don't really go too farther than that. But who fucking knows? Total speculation.
I got you. So do we want to split hairs and break any of these ties, or do we want to leave it as is since number one seems to be a clear cut winner?
Yeah, fuck it. I think it's a good representation of our collective thoughts as
Hmm.
is.
Yep. So we got
So
Evangelion at number one, then Satanist and Demigod tied for number two, and then Apostasy, I guess would technically be at four. So yeah, that's then Zaskia Colta. I Love You Your Darkest. Then Satanica Dilemma 6 is tied. And then what's the new? Is it Opa?
mm,
What is
uh,
this new album called again?
Opus Contra Natram,
Yeah,
some shit like that.
that one. And
Yeah.
then Grom, then Pandemonic Incantations, and then their debut Sventvith is the
Storming Mill
last
of the
one.
Baltic.
Yep. How do you feel about this new way that we're doing it? I feel like it is a lot better.
I think it's perfect, man. I think that's awesome. I think it may be close to what how we would have seen this list, but it's going to split the hairs a lot better, I
Hmm.
think.
I feel like it gives us both actual say of where things can kind of end up better, or more of a
Yeah, for
representation of
sure.
both of our tastes.
I will say I like the point 0.5 implementation too. I might have to
Hmm.
go halfsies on a record somewhere too.
In fact, you
That's
could go
awesome.
quarter. You can. I was thinking about going quarter with Evangelion because I wanted. I'd slight. it depends on my mood of whether or not I like Satanist more or Evangelion more. But and same with Apostasy and Demigod. But
Yeah.
I felt like with those ones, it wasn't going to be too much of a difference because obviously Satanist was 3 points away from Evangelion, and then Apostasy and Demigod perfectly 1 point apart from each other. So,
Perfect, man.
all right.
I will say with that list there, it's a stellar discography.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still interested in seeing this band live. I don't think they disappoint on the live front. I mean, although I have not seen them in shit probably 5 years or more, maybe like closer to 10 years, honestly. But awesome band live. I think I still want to see them again. I'm just interested in what that set list is going to look like, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they'll probably play
yeah,
Chant of Escatan 2000 EV.
I hope so. Chant of in 2024 EB. Yeah.
So, what do we want to do for the next album ranking?
I don't know, man. Throw me one. I think it's your time to decide. I picked the last two, I think.
Um,
Or fuck,
since we have
three
this,
probably.
no, because I think I picked Acacia Strain.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What shirt am I wearing? No, I'm not making you do Motorhead. I don't want to do Motorhead.
You want to
Um,
do Metallica?
I do have that shirt. That's a lot of albums though. And some of them are long. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like some of them are like 70 minutes long and stuff,
I definitely
if not
can't
longer.
sit through fucking what is it? Garage Inc. or some shit.
Or there's going to be the whole 90s period. I feel like is going to be hard to get through. Like Load, Reload, um,
I mean, shit.
Saint Anger.
Black is classics,
Yeah,
but
I feel like if
literally, I think every song on that album was on the radio.
how
I
about
don't care.
oh
We can
wait,
spin it
I
up.
I
Let's
had
change
someone
it up. What do you? Okay.
this one. So we both love this band, but I feel like it's going to be a little hard getting through some of their early stuff. But I feel like with this ranking, we only have to listen to those albums once just to get a feel so we can give it a score. How about Aborted?
Ooh, I like that.
All right.
Get a little bit more deathy.
All
A
right.
true death metal band and a death metal daddies podcast. Let's
Hell
do
yeah.
it. Aborted.
Let's do Aborted. All right. And like I said, like with all the other ones, just make sure we're only going to do studio albums, not EPs. And so if you get an EP vibe or a compilation vibe, just skip it. Just only worry about
Yeah.
the full lengths. So,
All right. Cool. Um. Oh, I just seen this suggested albums for me on my Spotify. It looks like that Achilles
mhm.
that I sent you on Bandcamp. Looks like that popped up on Spotify. So it must
All right.
have uploaded later or something. So maybe we can throw it on next week's playlist.
All right. I can put that on
Uh,
there. I don't know of too many new albums. I know English is coming out with one, and that's it. That's the only thing. I think we're still a little bit in a drought. I'll see if I can find any more sites that have more underground bands that we aren't tracking. See if we can find them
okay.
and put them on there.
Cool, yeah. And disclaimer to all the listener, or not disclaimer, but uh, all the peeps listening, send us band recommendations, man. Hit us up, let us know what you're listening to all the time.
Hmm.
Any new releases that you want us to check out, you know, always send it over. Let us know what it is. But yeah, we are pondering. Me and Jeff were throwing back the idea. If you want to keep this in, we are throwing back the idea of having a guest on. Didn't happen. So, anyways, that may be a possibility for the future. We'll see. But for now, it's the Death Metal Daddies. So fucking.
Yeah,
But we're
Death
doing a
Metal.
lot.
But yeah, I just uploaded it today, a couple hours before we started, so it's all up there. It's on YouTube. Yeah, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, or on TikTok. Obviously Spotify. Like we said
Yep.
last time, if you are interested in any of the music that we're talking about in this episode, there will be a playlist in the description. You can click on that and check out those bands if you're interested. Also, in the description, we will have the links to all of our other stuff. Follow us on TikTok, follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us comments, send us emails at deathmetalldaddies@gmail.com. Yeah, just hang out, talk to us. What do you want to hear about? You want to hear
Tell
about
us how much you
more?
hate us.
Yeah, tell us how we're boring. Tell
Yeah.
us, or even just give us suggestions of like either fatherhood stuff you want to hear us talk about, or metal stuff. Anything you want to hear us talk about, or even just, hey, my band's coming out with this song or album. Send it to us. We'll listen to it, tell you how it sounds, and then we'll tell everyone else to go listen to it. So,
And keep an eye out for our OnlyFans that's dropping this Saturday, where me and Jeff post pictures and videos of our butts and feet. So
yes, inflation is
hoping that's going to
affecting
be a
all of
great
us.
source of income.
It's tough times, the economy. So we got to
Hey, you got to do
supplement our income.
what you got to do. Hustle.
Anyways, that's it for us this week. Check us out next week. We'll be back, hopefully with more new music. So till then,
Yep. Till next
Death,
time.
Death Metal Daddy's out.
Jeff post pictures and videos of our butts and feet. So